Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod Show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod Show.
$300 shows. Man, 300 shows. TJ seems insane. Since 2016, the show has come a long way. Tonight, the Vital MX MotoXpod Show, presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA, will celebrate 300 freaking episodes with a great lineup, including Monster Energy star Yamaha's Eli Tomac, Factory One Sherco's Cody Webb, and Yamaha brand ambassador Damon Bradshaw. We had Kenny Roxon locked in. He's a little under the weather. He told me Friday at press day that he wasn't sure how he's going to be feeling. He texted me yesterday and said, man, he's just not feeling up to it. The whole family's sick. So no Kenny this week, but still going to be a great show. But before we get into all that, I'm back in Texas. The crew's back, which means the cameras, YouTube chat is going to be run by Scotty Thompson. What's up, Scotty?
Oh man, it's glad to be back. It's been a long time, and just excited for 300 and to be back in my normal seat.
You remember how to do this?
Well,
a lot of new stuff.
It's new stuff now, so we're figuring her out as she goes.
Hopefully it'll run smooth with all the new graphics and YouTube. Also in studio, since he doesn't have a job anymore, he's actually here. The original producer, MotoXpod Show.
What's up,
TJ
guys?
Smith.
Just, I got no job now.
Yeah,
so.
I got. You're gonna get fired on your day off.
I actually, now that you said that, I did technically get laid off on my days off. So
were you still in boxes?
No, but I should have. Obviously, maybe I could.
Did you get laid on the day you got laid off?
Absolutely. I just told the wife, I'm like, you know what? This is not the best day, but we're going to end the night great. So,
yeah.
Dip the dog.
Dip the dog.
Dipping the dog.
Well, as we roll into the Racetech Open discussion, we gotta let you know about Racetech. For nearly 40 years, Racetech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. From modern to vintage, Racetech is your go-to source for suspension performance. Racetech's been on board for a long time, TJ. I've run it. You've used some Racetech products.
I have a lot.
Not sure if you have, Scotty.
Probably.
What the hell?
He said,
I don't know if that's a yes.
Yeah,
No.
me
he's
neither.
over there barking. I don't know what's going on.
So it's like a little puppy over there. But yeah, find your local service center. You can go to racetech.com, find your local service center, meet your local tech at the local track more than likely, get them to service your stuff, change the oil, ask questions. Racetech's there for you. We love the guys at Racetech, Checkers and the boys. And speaking of Racetech, they're also supporting the Vital MX Fantasy League, or the fantasy game, which MotoXpod Show has a league. And this week's winner was Shane Borden. And Shane's going to win a rear shock rebuild from Racetech. So thanks to those guys for that. I'll email you, Shane, today or tomorrow probably. But yeah, don't forget MotoXpodShow@gmail.com if you guys want to reach out, get involved with all the different segments, anything you want to talk to us about. Top 5, highs and lows, criticisms, etc. We want to hear from you guys. Let's right off the bat, Detroit's coming up. And there's a time difference and a format change for this weekend. I don't know if everybody realizes that, so I just want to kind of let everybody know. This race, I believe, starts at 3 o'clock local time in Detroit. So check your local listings. It's live.
Like a 4:30 track walk.
It's it's early AM track walk, but it's going to be on NBC. So there's some confines they had to fit the show into. And the format change is the heat races are going to start with 450s. So 450, heat 1, heat 2, then 250, heat 1, heat 2. And then it rolls back, I believe, into the normal format. Go ahead.
What was the reason for that? Just out of curiosity. Was there we're going to try something new, or was it?
I think they want to get early eyes probably on the stars.
The stars.
Is what I'm guessing.
Well, that 450 class is star pack, and then the 250 class is going to be interesting. So some build up to that.
Yeah, with the 250 East kicking off. Yeah, we'll get into that probably in the X brand forum check-in because there was a topic on that. What do you guys think of Detroit with the A2 with the Triple Crown? Finally had a dry race. The track conditions were a little interesting. Some of the track was dry, some of it was wet. Track kind of came apart in areas, but the racing in all 7 races, so each race for each class plus the futures was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe I've never seen the futures be as exciting as what it was. So the whole week, it was everything you could hope for and want out of a Triple Crown. You know what I mean? Like it's what we all want to see. So it was awesome.
Yeah, when the second 450 main was probably one of the best just races I've ever seen in a long time. Like
The one Jason won.
Yeah, the second to eighth battle was just crazy. And then also when Jason went down in the third one, it was like I had no idea who was winning or like.
Oh yeah,
it was like who's gonna get this? Like usually by the third race you kind of know what a couple of guys are gonna do it, but like it was wide open and I just thought it was incredible.
Yeah, I kind of think like sometimes Triple Crowns are and there's the negative towards the Triple Crown is a lot of times these guys know going into the third one that all they have to do is be kind of consistent and they're good.
It wasn't like that.
Well, it was, honestly, because Cooper said he knew.
But besides him, everybody else was
even in the 250 class.
But seeing it, watching it, it didn't seem that way. Guys seemed to be pushing to the
right.
end.
Yeah, it was super exciting. But I guess my point was like sometimes the Triple Crown can be a little bit But coming off of 2 mud races, like I don't think it could have been any better.
Right.
Yeah. With the format and 3 different winners in the 450 class and the type of battles that all the races were, it was like the perfect culmination of a couple shitty weekends.
Also, kind of something to think about. We really didn't know who was where because of the mud races, because of Anaheim 1 is such an out of the, kind of out of the realm of what you're going to see all season.
Right.
Then you have the mud races that happen after that. And so it was kind of almost like the first real round was a Triple Crown. So it would kind of be cool if they could do that like the second round every year or something like that, because you still don't know what you're going to get. And the leaders of the pack per se haven't basically stamped themselves that these are the guys that are going to win. So
yeah, I agree. AP still leading the points.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty impressive.
I can pull them up now. We got them on the
screen. Are you able to show the points there? That drop those things down.
Yeah.
So I think I asked this last week with ML and just blanked on who was in studio last week. Mm-hmm. I was going to say it was Kate.
Derek Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Derek Kelly.
DK.
Do you think the win, and then he's still in the points league, propels him to more wins this season, TJ? How much does that win benefit him and propel him to a higher position than maybe what you thought at the beginning of the season?
I think he'll be where he is. I
thought you were about to say, I think he'll be where he's going to be.
No, I think he'll be where we thought he was going to be, if that makes sense. I think it will propel him. I think he had a really good race. I think he'll be up there, but him holding the red plate, I think it was, he got lucky that it finished the way it finished.
Yeah.
And he'll probably relinquish it this weekend, and then he'll go back to where he was, top fives, maybe another podium. Because
so you don't think he wins 2 more races or even another race?
I think he could.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's not what I'm asking.
No.
Do you think he does? Yes,
I think that that there is a possibility of him winning more races, but I don't think that his chances now that he's won are any better than what they were.
Well, I just want to know, do you think he'll win 1 more race this season?
No.
Scotty?
I do.
Okay.
I'm kind of going to buy
He's not
into,
listening, by the way. So
I can buy in a little bit into what you're saying. I think it is going to propel him but if you look, as everybody can see on the screen with the points, the people that are directly behind him, Sexton, Webb, Lawrence, Tomac, and Anderson. I mean, those guys are going to. Some of them already have won a race and will continue to win more. So, I mean, he's definitely got the guys right behind him that will going to make it hard for him to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Eli on here in a minute because I want to ask him if being 10 points down and finishing where he did at A1, if that, do you go, oh, wow, I'm off a little bit. I'm a little worried because when you look at his history, his championship years, like in 2020, he's 10 points down now. In 2020, after round 4, he was 8 points down, so not that much different.
Yeah.
Still won the championship. Really, 10 points is nothing right now.
I think if you told him he wasn't going to race for as long as he did and he was going to have to deal with an injury that he's never dealt with before and also be older and towards the end of his career and then come into this with as much talent as there is, and he's 4 rounds in, he's only 10 points back. I think he would take that all day, no matter how he got there. So, I still think that he's going to continue to get better. One of the big takeaways I got from this past weekend was what surprised me more than anything was in that third race when he got the lead, and when Jet got into second, I was like, oh, Jet's going to suck him up, and Tomac grew the lead. Like,
that's the best. I think definitely the best Eli's rode all year.
Him gapping or holding the gap and growing it on Jet was very surprising to me. I really thought that Jet was going to catch him, and he didn't.
Yeah. Jet's about to go on a run.
What's that?
Jet's about to go on a run.
Well, speaking of Jet, could you hear on TV the amount of the volume of booze?
Yeah, they didn't show the opening.
Oh, they didn't show open ceremonies at all.
They can't put anything on TV that makes Jet look bad.
Yeah, they won't.
Okay, I'm not sure that that's the case.
No.
It was incredible. We were all in the press box, and it was sort of quiet in the press box with the booze. We were just all turning and looking at each other, going, "Oh my God, is that are we really hearing this?" It was loud. Like, I would say more than 50% booze.
Wow.
I mean, he's learning a lesson the hard way, I think.
But okay. Why do you think the boos are coming? Because I have a theory. I have an opinion, not a theory. I have an opinion. So, Scotty, what's bringing the boos from the fans? What is it that they are not enjoying?
I think it was like you're gonna get onto a guy for basically not letting you buy that.
So you're speaking of the week before.
Well, it obviously is related to that.
Jason Anderson, like that's. But is that the only reason they booed?
No, but it was kind of like, it's like, hey, you're gonna act like this. You're gonna. I mean,
act like what though?
The fact that he was like saying, like, getting on to Anderson for racing him tough, and then what it portrayed to me was that he came off a little entitled, and that he was kind of expects things to kind of go his way, and it didn't, and he backlashed on him, and he didn't handle the situation in the social media thing very well. And yeah, I mean, all those guys have been established for so long, and I don't think the fans just like respected the way that he handled it, and they booed him. So I mean, obviously something was going on.
TJ, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think actually brought the boos on? Any thought? Are they just? We don't know for sure why each person booed, but what do you think was the primary?
I think the people probably are getting tired of the Jet hype. I don't think it had anything to do with
which isn't his fault.
No, it's not his fault. But and the fact that he is probably going to have a very high chance of being the next RC. You know what I'm talking about? As far as like being one of the dominant.
Speaking
riders.
of RC, remote control cars, RC.
Oh, yeah.
Helmet painting. Thanks to Steve for the SKG hat. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
One of our listeners found me at A2, gave me one of his hats. If you guys have RC cars.
So anyway,
SKG_RC on Instagram.
I think that it's just how it works. See, if you're at the top and you're getting all the publicity, people like the underdog. And then part of last week, I don't think it was so much that people thought, oh, he should, don't get mad at him for getting in the way. It was just Jason made him look like a little punk.
See, first of all, we don't know what we didn't see. Like as far as the viewers on TV, you don't know what you didn't see. We don't know what for sure all that happened.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But all they saw was Jason making him look like a punk.
The thing that I think most of the boos are coming for is partly what you said. Like, there's a lot of Feld and pushing, Jet. Everything's Jet. The camera's on Jet all the time.
Yeah. During the 250 race, they were showing Jet.
That stuff gets annoying, and that's not Jet's fault. But people are kind of getting over that. But then if you are on Twitter and you believe, and Jason Anderson posted about, hey, Jet never actually said, I'm sorry. His agent, Lucas Myrtle, and so were the ones that apologized. If you really believe all that, then you kind of go, well, yeah, he's a punk because he should have been a man if he was going to actually apologize.
Oh, I don't think he's a punk.
I heard he did apologize.
Yeah.
We just didn't hear about it. I don't know if that's true. But those two things combined kind of make people get a bad taste in their mouth, I think.
Yeah. That's exactly what I kind of saying. You said it better than me.
I don't know that what Scotty said, like, just because I don't know if it was him being entitled. Maybe some people did feel that way. I didn't feel that way.
You don't think that that's how the interaction between him and Anderson at the end of the race came off? Like, you don't think that was him being like, oh, you should have gotten out of my way?
I would hope not. Like, I just can't believe that he would think that.
What else was he getting mad at him
Well,
about?
I don't know that Jason didn't cross jump him or something we didn't see. That's what I'm thinking. Something had to have happened. I don't believe he just expected him to get out of the way. I just don't believe that.
I think y'all are giving the fans that fill the stadium too much credit. I don't think they knew what it was.
It's not just in the stadium. It's across the board. And then all the writers who responded, well, you don't have Twitter.
Yeah.
So when Jason made that, that was on Instagram.
But I know what I'm trying to get at.
The writers that responded,
they talked about it on the broadcast.
too.
But what I'm saying is in the stadium, they just saw Jet look like a punk, and people are going to be like, "Ha ha ha!" You know what I mean? That's what I think it is.
Maybe. I think they might have to. I don't want to say revamp or something how he's being promoted, or I feel like if I was in his camp, I'd kind of almost be like, let's back some of this promotion down just a little bit. But then I'm not an agent. They want to make the money while it's there. So maybe they just keep pushing, and they don't maybe they don't care if people don't like him for a little while.
It's like everybody hated RC.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The only person that they didn't hate that was that dominant was Ricky.
Well, that was the Race Tech Open discussion.
MC.
Yeah, Race Tech Open discussion. We're going to continue the open part of the start of the show with Yamaha Motor USA also being on board. I brought home my Yamaha 450 this week. I also have the new Yamaha e-bike, the YDX Moro 07. I'm going to put some time on that thing. It's a pedal assist e-bike. I'm going to try to probably do a story on that pretty soon where I'm going to try to get my dad in shape using that with the pedal assist, kind of start him off where he has a little help.
So you're going to ride behind him and while he runs like Rocky?
No, I'm going to let him ride the e-bike and I'll ride the acoustic bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really cool. But I want to thank Yamaha. What?
That term.
You don't like acoustic? Electric and acoustic. Why not?
I get it.
You know what don't you like about it?
It just sounds retarded.
You sound retarded. We shouldn't say the word retarded.
Sorry.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because
acting like an idiot.
Sounds idiotic.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
it's funny. I've noticed that in the social media world, on like comments of videos and stuff like that, like instead of saying autistic, they say acoustic. Is like
oh really?
Yeah, that's like a thing. Like,
no,
is he acoustic?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha's new 50th anniversary edition YZs pay tribute to a half-century of championship-winning performance wrapped in stunning retro style. Check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com. So I just want to say this just to see TJ's reaction. Is the camera on TJ if you're on YouTube right now?
You want me to put it on all
just
three
put it
of
on
us?
the two of you so you can see his face fairly well. This YDX Moro 07 Yamaha e-bike that I have retails for $6,399.
I just built a complete dirt bike for less than that.
Yeah, but this is way cooler than your e-bike. I'm sorry.
It is not. You haven't ridden it.
Oh, he said he could build a complete dirt bike. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, my dirt bike that
Yeah,
I built.
I don't know, man. This thing's badass. I love it. It's really cool. So look for some content coming on that in the near future. I'm gonna put
$7,000 for a. I'm sorry.
No, $6,400.
$7,000 by the time you put tax with it.
$6,400.
By the time you put tax with it.
Is that the walking out the door price?
Yeah, that's right.
For a mountain
Out
bike.
the door price.
Yeah. Me all the fees and stuff included.
Excuse me. Yep. Got Eli Tomac coming up in about 12 minutes. Let's see here. What else do we want to talk about? Let's go back to the Triple Crown for just a second. The Futures race. Anybody surprised at Cole Davies? Holy crap, what a race.
I'm known for not knowing anything, and I didn't know who he was or anything about him, and I was like,
not many people did.
And I was like, he was, who was he racing against? I'm
Towers.
drawing
Towers.
Towers,
GT.
yeah. Yeah, Towers is supposed to be one of those. He's supposed to be the guy coming up, and he kind of put it to him.
So
it was really cool.
The racecraft between those two was what was impressive. Like there was they weren't taking each other out. They were like, a lot of times when these guys get in the 250 class, you go, wow, they don't have much racecraft, because they've been used to racing amateurs and by themselves almost. Those two went at it, and I felt like from watching it in the stands, pretty safe, pretty just good racing. And I think Gavin would have won if I think it was one lap to go, maybe 2 laps to go, and Gavin clipped that double.
Yeah, clipped the double.
Yeah, it had to be more than one to go because he was off for like a full lap, just kind of got out of rhythm, then got caught back up. But very impressive. That might have been the best futures race we've seen.
Well,
it was. I'm going to say it was.
I think the biggest thing you could take away is he's racing against Gavin, who trains with the Yamaha guys.
Yeah.
So that's going to show you where he could possibly be whenever he does turn.
I thought I heard somewhere in the grapevine that that Towers is sometimes one of the fastest guys
he
at
is.
Star. So
yeah, he's really good.
I don't know about the fastest, but he's keeping up with those guys.
yeah.
I think he's had moments where he's been the fastest.
Oh wow, Gavin's a good kid. So we like Gavin.
Yeah, it's really cool, really cool. So that was exciting. That just a great night of racing. It would be wonderful if we can continue this going into Detroit every round, but with the East Coast, just to have such good racing. I hope the 450 class stays this way, where it's like just every week there's 4 or 5 guys that might win. It's changing. It's really exciting. What else we want to talk about before we move into
the chat is talking about how overweight Scotty's looking.
Oh, are they?
Just want to throw that out
he's
there.
pregnant, man. Be nice, guys. Be nice. We can talk about the dark shirts,
We don't care about that.
Nobody cares?
Moving on.
but I need to sell some more shirts.
I mean, I could see people wanting to buy those shirts.
Sold a lot of them, but if anybody wants a dark shirt, I need Kiefer to give me a sound drop on that. Hit me up on Instagram. Got a few left. They're selling actually pretty fast. They're shipping out tomorrow.
It's not an uncool shirt.
That's not what you said a while ago. You said they were stupid.
Oh, I think that
You guys didn't like the logo or the look, but I don't know what to tell you. That's what they are.
I was just trying to help you.
Yeah.
I felt bad for my buddy who needs a
hit me up
paycheck.
at DarksideMX3 on Instagram and DM me if you guys are interested in buying some of these shirts that are left.
Y'all think he's losing weight because he
Well, it's
is
also-
training.
it's
He's
also
losing
the way
weight because
I'm-
he can't afford food, so he'll buy these shirts to help him buy food.
It's also the way I'm sitting.
Go on my next date.
The way I'm sitting, and I'm the first camera.
We
Is that not
just-
what you were talking about?
We just
No, it's the belly.
it's the
belly
golf
that we-
belly.
It's
well,
the
it's the way
basketball.
I'm sitting.
No, it's not because I watched you when you walked in, dude. We got to get you back on a bike quickly.
Yeah, I know.
And a mountain bike. and-
One more part comes in. We're just waiting on KTM now, and
Yeah.
then the bike will be back together.
We're almost there.
Oh, wow. Okay, before we get into, again, Eli Tomac, Jorge Prado, 4 rounds.
Oh, I'm so excited about him coming here next year.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so
But
excited.
was
about
this
that.
successful?
Absolutely?
Okay. Tell me why. He went 13-7, 11-12, won a heat race in San Francisco in the mutter, the biggest mutter. What? I'm not arguing with you. I
No.
agree. I think it was successful. But what to you made it successful?
Because he came over here. There's no way he didn't somewhat hold back to be able to. He didn't want to hurt himself. He wanted to try it out. He doesn't have Supercross experience and comes in and gets through healthy and knows what he needs to do for next year. I think it was 100% a success, and I can't wait for him to be full time here. It's going to be good.
Scotty, were you impressed with the rides and the consistency? I mean, he struggled in some whoops, especially at A1. He struggled. He started jumping through them. He was really bad in them at A1. But overall, thoughts on Prado?
I think it was. I mean, it was a test run to see if he wants to do it in the future, and I think he will. And I think he got what he needed out of it. It sucks that half of the races he did were mutters, so it was kind of hard to tell. But I mean, I think he checked off the boxes that he was trying to.
Yeah, and he was really excited to be here and having a lot of fun.
He's gonna be
even
great.
like there was a quote, I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was from one of Lewis's interviews with him, where he was it might have been a different media outlet, but he said something like, I finished whatever it was. He finished because I don't remember which round it was, but I finished 12th and it was the most fun I've ever had, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it, or whatever.
Another aspect to it is, we're in a very unique era of the sport that I don't think we've really ever had before, that we have these such gnarly guys that are in, the top 10 guys that are the factory riders. They're all so experienced, and they've been doing this for so long, longer than we've seen in the past people stick around. And for him to come in and toss it up with those guys is hard, because they may nobody's ever experienced the level of competition that the 450 Supercross class has right now. There's just so many years of experience.
Yeah.
If you added up all the top factory guys' years of racing together, I don't think we've ever had that many years combined racing at once. So it was a tough ask for him to come in and do that, and I think he did good.
He did well. He got some decent starts at A2. I think he pulled a whole shot. So those, I think he very successful. Didn't get injured.
Yeah.
So
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
and
it was
he,
very,
like you said, great interview too.
Show 300. We're very excited about this. We're gonna do a little bit after Eli. We're gonna do a little bit of like some history of the MotoXpod show.
And then we're shutting the show down and never doing it again, right? Like,
Yes, this will be the last show ever. So Scotty, you don't have to come back. Wink, wink. No, listen.
Do all this yourself.
I'm joking. Show 300. So we want to do something. We want to do a pretty cool giveaway. If you're on YouTube watching live or listening live, which pretty much YouTube is the only way to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to give a FXR casual set away. That's something we do all the time. TJ, you found the question. So to do that, but don't get distressed. We're going to give away something else to everybody after. But this is for live listeners right now. What's your trivia question for a casual set from FXR?
So for the casual set, we want to know, when was FXR founded? What year was FXR founded?
So if you want to win, answer in the chat. That's going to be you, Scotty. Try to pay attention.
Well,
we're on
it.
Oh, okay. One of you.
I'll do this.
Okay, TJ can do that then.
Yeah.
For a set of casual, it's going to be a shirt and a hat from FXR.
Yep.
For everybody, YouTube and listeners that will listen, say at the end of the week, etc. I just blanked. Cody Webb's coming up in a little bit. Cody Webb is the FXR is probably.
Oh, we got it already.
Okay.
Wow, that was quick.
Who's the winner?
Joe Blow.
All right, Joe Blow. Email the show.
Yeah.
MotoXpod show.
That was quick. I didn't expect it. Sorry.
MotoXpod show at gmail.com.
He kind of came out of nowhere. That's not one of our regular.
Yeah, hopefully
guys.
we got to figure out how we know it's the right person.
Oh God, if it's just so many years popping up on the screen
so
now.
we'll get you hooked up with FXR.
They've already won.
All right, listen. For this FXR has agreed to give away a full set of riding gear: pants, jersey, gloves.
Yeah.
The question needs to be emailed to motoxpodshow@gmail.com. We will pick a winner at the end of the week.
Full set of gear.
Well, yeah, pants, jersey. No,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no goggles, no
Right,
head
but I'm
boots,
saying
but yes.
pants, jersey, and gloves.
What year did Cody Webb win his first Endurocross championship? He is an FXR rider. He's a premier off-road guy.
If you answer in the chat,
answer,
it doesn't count. I'm not reading it.
We will pick a random winner for that.
Yeah, if you don't answer in the chat, guys, if you know, because then you could send the email in and you have a better chance of winning.
Yep. So, those are the two. We're going to give a set of gear away, a set of casual away. If you're listening live, it pays to listen live, and you can have some more fun with us. Again, Eli Tomac coming up in just a couple minutes. We've got some listener questions for him. What's up?
Somebody asked, why aren't you giving away a truck?
Yeah. We're going to stay away from that one. That was weird.
Yeah.
Someone earlier asked, said that you seem different now that you've dipped your dog.
Who said I dipped my dog, man? That's just them making up shit. Don't believe everything you hear on the Pulp Mech show. It's been a dry spell. We're not going to get into
It had been a dry spell?
I said has been.
Has been?
Has been. It's been a dry spell. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Something else I want to talk about. We don't have enough time to get totally into it. You'll like this topic. Okay. I got to go to the Metal Hall of Fame again.
Yeah.
Todd Headley with the Hall of Fame had us there.
Pictures.
So it was myself, Aaron Plessinger, Seth Rarick, Sean Brennan from Feld, Doug from the TV crew, Josh Hill, Cade Clayson, Alec Gott, one of our photographers, Dr. Navarro, Robbie Wageman, Dakota Tedder, all went. Got to hang out.
Was he just like a long list of name dropping?
Yeah.
Well, I was just letting everybody know who was there.
Okay, I was just asking.
Actually, AP went because of me. I invited him.
Oh, my God.
Well,
just move on.
that was cool. I didn't think he would go. I thought for sure he'd say no. But we got to meet freaking Tom Morello, Sebastian Bach from Skid Row.
Yeah.
That was one of my highlights. And John Five from
So I think
Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson,
I
Motley
saw
Crue.
your post with Sebastian Bach, and someone made a comment about something that looked like you thought that was your sister or something like that.
Oh, somebody said I thought that might have been your date.
Oh,
Yeah, Veronica. Nope, that was Sebastian Bach.
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not going to date Sebastian Bach, but
You probably would. Yeah, man. It's going to date,
Sebastian's
man.
pretty rad. But like, I definitely didn't think Aaron Plessinger would go. I thought for sure there's no way he would say no. But we had a blast. Just meeting Tom Morello was amazing. You're a Rage fan, Scotty?
Yeah.
Okay, not so much. Wow.
I didn't say I didn't like
Rage
him.
Against the Machine?
I don't know. I don't
like
know
Rage.
like
And
the
Audio Slave, that's who Tom Morello's with. So we got to meet Tom Morello.
cool.
Anyway, good
I don't know
times.
who that
All right, our
is.
first guest of the night is on the line. It's going to be brought to you tonight by Troll Training. Troll Training is the culmination of a combined 3 decades spent in the trenches of the professional sports scene, refining training methods, learning, absorbing, and training alongside some of the best in the business. Alex Martin, John Wesleyan have expert guidance in helping you navigate the many nuances of training, including periodization, endurance, strength and conditioning, riding technique, on-the-bike structure, nutrition, and more. Visit trolltraining.com. Tonight, oh, shit. Hang tight, we got a problem.
Bro.
Yeah.
Talk about Troll Training real quick.
I obviously need it.
Yeah.
According to the chat.
Definitely needed.
I've definitely gained some lbs, happy weight.
And you got a new car, so that makes you
yeah. Well, we honestly, man, like I don't eat good. We like McDonald's and Wendy's, and
I do that too, but just don't eat so much sugar.
I don't really eat that much sugar. What I do is I overeat. I eat too much.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about that, Eli.
Hey,
Phone disconnected from the board, man. That's on me. How you doing tonight? How you feeling after 4 rounds of Supercross? How we doing?
well, I feel like we're right in the mix now. Like we're, like the season's going. I feel like after those mud races or the mud races themselves kind of put a little funkiness into the start of this season, and having 2 in a row was pretty odd. So I'm just glad we're going to some covered roofs now, and we had a dry Anaheim, and now we're going.
So I want to ask you this: after A1, and I think you were 6th at A1, and then now after 4 rounds, we're 10 points down. Was there ever a moment so far this season we were kind of like, oh boy, this isn't going, like I'm nervous at all?
Well, so A1, I wasn't sick. I was actually totally healthy.
No, 6th. Then you finished 6th?
Oh, 6th. Oh, okay, yeah. Shoot, man, I totally lost my train of thought here.
I'm sorry.
What was the question again? Sorry.
Were you nervous at all with the way the results have been this season?
Well, all I know is Anaheim 1 was a lot worse performance than where I envisioned myself to be. And yeah, I don't like getting that far behind, but, with the mud races, it's just a roll of the dice straight up, and I feel like being 10 points down after those 2 in a row, those mud races, I'm totally comfortable with that. So, at the same time, those races are so nerve wracking because you can totally lose a season there just because of something happening, in those conditions.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're more likely it's more likely something bad could happen in those conditions, and that's just how it goes, though.
Yeah, the reason I asked that is I went back and looked in your championship years. In 2020, you finished 7th at A1, and in 22, you finished 6th at A1. And in 20, after 4 rounds, you were 8 points down, and you're 10 points down now. So it's really, you're right on par with your championship years.
Yeah, that's been my MO, and I don't know. I've said this a bunch, but I have failed at Anaheim 1 so many times. Just trying to come in there thinking I'm ahead of the game and I'm in the right spot, and I learned so much from that race and find out so much about what works for me. And most of the time, my problem is getting tight with arm pump. So whether it's a combination of nerves and having the wrong setup, but that's really no blame on the team. I mean, because they let us do what we want to do, and I say it's good going in Anaheim 1, and then it turns out not to be. So that's just the way it goes, I guess, for me.
Scotty?
Hey, Eli, this is Scotty. This is the first time I've gotten to talk to you, man. Just a big fan. Glad to see you back racing again and having you as part of this. Has this competition in the racing so far in the season been tighter than you kind of maybe thought that it would have been? And then moving on throughout the season, let's say by like around 12 or 13, how many guys do you think are going to still be legitimately in the points race?
Yes, I do feel like this. I'm surprised at how many guys are really good. Because it's like every year we're always like, oh, the field is so deep, but this year it really is. And it's hard to move up, if you do get a 7th place start. And then if you even if you do make a couple passes, you have to go so hard to get by those guys because everyone's going so fast. It's tough to keep going forward. But by then, I'm sure something will shake out, between 2 or 3 guys. I don't see it staying the way it is right now all the way through. No way. I do think it will shake out a little bit, but either way, it's a very competitive field right now.
It is for us in the media and for the fans. It's been a fantastic year. I think the mud races really kind of helped mix things up and make it unusual. Because like you said, you never know what to expect. So far, It's been an exciting year. I got a couple questions I want to ask you about this. Well, did you have to change anything technique-wise after last year's injuries with Achilles? Anything change, or are you kind of just trying to keep it the same?
So when I started riding, I did notice myself kind of sliding my foot forward actually in those high G-load situations. So like when I first got on Supercross and I was in the rhythm section, right, or if it was a big triple or something, I noticed on landings and then into the next ramp, in the middle of the air, I was adjusting my foot for that moment, right? So I would slide it a little bit forward so it wasn't totally on the ball of the foot. So yeah, it was like subconsciously. I wasn't like totally thinking about it. My body would just kind of do it to protect it. Even at that point, I was past my, I was obviously released from the doctor, and I was at the point to where they said, you have the same chance of injuring this one now as you do as your good side, or your side, that wasn't torn. So that's what I noticed at first was, I was cheating it in the rhythm lanes. Like I would slide my foot forward and put more weight onto my heel in the middle of my foot, as to where normally I'm just basically on the ball of the foot at all times, especially down a rhythm lane.
Was that causing you any kind of problems, or did you had to obviously probably mentally go, I have to fix this, but was it slowing you down? Was it kind of causing any issues that you were doing that subconsciously?
No, I would say it lasted for a couple of weeks, but I had enough time on the bike to where once Anaheim 1 came around, and even before that, I felt like that wasn't as much of a factor anymore. So,
okay.
Now it doesn't, like it used to get kind of sore at the end of the days, and now I don't even really notice it. So it's been an excellent recovery. Yeah,
I would say if A2 race 3 was any indication, you're back.
Yeah. I needed to get out front. I haven't led a race in a while, I guess. And it was very refreshing to get out front. I could do my thing, and it was something I needed for sure at this point in time.
Absolutely.
So one of our listeners on the YouTube chat had a question that was pretty good, but it's going to be really early. So I know we're probably not going to get the answer we want to hear, but if you're healthy,
yes. The answer is yes.
It has to be yes. If you're healthy at the end of the year and you're looking as good as you do now, are we going to see you like at Moto Across the Nations?
That is, I can't give an answer for. Of course.
Ask, yeah.
I can't give you that answer. I'm trying to make it a little bit more into the season.
Sure.
See how things go. That's all I can give you. I can't say yes. I'm in for the whole thing right now. Yep.
I knew that, but the question is that something that you would, your career winding down the next few years or whatever, is that something that you're like, you know what, I want to go there and do that again? Or you're like, that race is kind of a pain?
I mean, here's the deal. It's an inconvenient part of the year for everyone, but it's a super fun race. And if I was committed to the whole year, I mean, you basically have to go and you have to experience it. And there's nothing like failing, many times and then winning the event. That Red Bud win was totally epic. And it's basically, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Eli, I asked you this at the A1 press conference. I'm not sure everybody that's listening to the show got to hear the response, and maybe you've thought about it more since then. I asked you, had you won the championship last year, do you think you would have been ready to call it quits? We keep hearing that maybe you're thinking about it. So what do you think?
Mm-hmm. From last year, It's
I mean,
here's the thing is like I'm not in my head. I'm not ready to say like I'm done. So I don't even know. I can't say. It's like if I said one thing or the other, it's just me blabbing. So I'm just not done yet.
I love that. We don't want you to be done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's a great answer.
And that's all I can say. Yeah.
Okay. This question comes from my coworker, my buddy Lewis Phillips. He wants to know what you think of the state of media. One, do you enjoy doing these things, and do you like the more thought-provoking, tough questions? He tries to not just bring on press day the same basic questions. He wants to know what you like and what you think about that type of questioning.
Well, here's the thing with media. It's like, it's basic from the racer's point of view. It's the media is kind of like, what is your mood like as a racer, right? So if things are going well, for me, it's always been easy to talk to the press and everything's all good. Everything's, nice and happy and jolly. But if you're getting beat every weekend and you're having to go do these things, then the media is frustrating, but that's what we sign up for, and that's part of the deal. But for the state of the media itself, I mean,
you can be honest.
Yeah, we won't hang up.
No,
on you.
I'm not trying to like think about how to deflect it. It's for me, it's just the media. So
yeah.
Question wise, I think you guys do an okay job. Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I know, again, Lewis tries to bring heavier questions. He really thinks about things, and he was curious what you thought about some of those questions that make you go, I haven't thought about that. Like if you like that more than just the basic, what'd you change on your suspension today, Eli?
Yeah. I guess it's what's tough as a racer is like sometimes you want to say more, but at the same time you don't want to give out too much information. So
sure,
like Phil.
Like Phil? Did you say Phil?
Like Phil.
Oh yeah, Phil got in trouble. Phil Nicoletti got in trouble again. Yeah, but I don't think Phil cares.
Because then, like, if you say too much, then you're like giving the competition help. So
okay.
At the same time, we're kind of handcuffed as racers too.
Sure.
But overall, you guys have been good.
Cool.
Yeah, Eli. So, one of the most interesting stories for me in the off season was, after you made your return, you and Cooper being under the same tent was kind of a thing that we were all excited to see because, that's never really happened. And, you guys have won 4 of the last 5 Supercross championships. So obviously y'all are the guys. And I just wanted to see how it's been being under the tent with him. Has it been a source of maybe intensity or competition that has allowed y'all to excel when it comes to racing the other teams and the other riders? And just overall, how has it been?
Overall, it's actually played out how I thought it was going to play out, to where we kind of just do our own thing. We both have our own motorhome. We barely see each other, other than us going to our motorcycle or signing autographs. So it's not like we're clashing at all. I mean, we run totally different suspension setups, and the team allows us to do that. So we're kind of, we're under the same tent, but at the same time we're on our own islands, like, because we have our own motorcycle set up and we have our own coaches. It's just kind of just business as usual. There's nothing really clashing between us at all. So it's been all good.
That makes us sad. We were hoping for an answer like it was Step Brothers, like y'all are best friends now.
I mean, I guess Eli, at the end of the day though, the competitors that you and Coop are, y'all both want to be the top dog under the Yamaha tent at the end of the night. So, I mean, that's kind of what I was looking at it at a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, it's just, you want to be that guy no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
right.
and you want to perform. So yeah, you definitely want to be the top guy.
All right, Eli, I want to shift gears a little bit away from some of the racing questions you get asked all the time. I don't know if you remember, last time we talked, I found out you were a Metallica fan, which blew my mind, so I was totally stoked on that. First thing I want to know is, I don't even want to ask about retirement. We're going to skip that. I heard that you're into flying and maybe got your pilot's license recently. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, so when I was doing my Achilles recovery, that was something I was doing early in the game. Is it just happened to work out. I went and did a ground school. So in the mornings I'd go do my physical therapy with my Achilles, obviously. And then I would go to a ground school. It happened to be in the afternoon. And yeah, I ended up getting my private pilot's license. I'm not flying anything very spectacular, but I'm rated for a single engine land is what I'm rated to, non-IFR. So yeah, I got my private pilot and was flying around a 172 before things got really busy.
That's cool. Like maybe someday you fly yourself to the races.
I totally could. It would take me a long time to get there right now for what I can fly. Do it.
That's great though. I love it. That's something interesting that a lot of people probably didn't know.
The next Bob Hanna.
Yeah. It was great for just to keep me going during that downtime. It was, I don't know how it all worked out, but it did. And it was perfect for the time to kill, while you're waiting for your tendons to heal.
Yeah. So you don't drive yourself insane or your wife insane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I mentioned Metallica, and I don't know, we were talking right before you came on that myself and Sean Brennan and Aaron Plessinger went to the Metal Hall of Fame last week. Would you have gone if you didn't have to race that weekend? Because like Sean was trying to get riders to go, and it was again Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, Tom Morello. It was a pretty cool thing. Would that be something you would ever go do?
Nope.
I can't say I'm like that in the metal.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I would go check it out. Maybe if there was something with Metallica, like outside of Metallica, I'm not like sitting there just jamming, the metal whatever on Sirius XM. But
fair enough.
He's a Swiftie.
That's fair. Well, hey, that's fair, man. I was curious because Sean Brennan's like, do you know any riders that like this kind of music? I was like, well, I know Eli likes Metallica, but there's not a chance in hell he's going Wednesday night before a race. And I was like, I think AP would go if it wasn't a Wednesday night, and like Levi Kitchen would go. And I went and said something to AP, and instantly he was like, hell yeah, that sounds fun. I couldn't believe he went, so I was blown away. And the Rarick went, and yeah, it was good times. I just wondered if that would be something you'd enjoy.
Yeah.
All right, we got some listener questions that I want to get to, and one of them was, actually, this is mine. This came from a story I heard about Dylan Ferrandis riding with somebody like a mechanic that wasn't very good, and he was kind of like, why do you even bother? So I wonder if you go to the track and you're around
riders
guys like
us.
myself, who's just an average vet rider. Do you kind of go like, why do you bother, man? That's like, if you're not going to be the best, like, why bother? Or do you still see it like it's just, we know why it's fun?
Oh, 100%. That's with any sport or any recreational activity. Like, if I was going to try to go surf or something, I'd be a total dork and not be able to get the wave. But as soon as I get it, it's super fun. And I absolutely see why everyone wants to ride. I mean, I love riding mountain bikes just to go ride and, and find that flow going down the trail or whatever it may be. So heck yeah. No, you don't have to be a pro. No,
good.
You do not have to be a pro to enjoy something.
Yeah, Eli, at what level of experience do you start thinking that somebody is slow? Like A guys, B guys, like a B, like a 35.
No, like Cade Clayson. Why are you out here, dude?
Yeah,
sorry, Cade.
Yeah, I guess something like that. But like, what do you start considering? Like a guy's jumping all the jumps, holding his line.
Yeah.
It's like, is that look slow to you, or like where do you consider to be slow?
Poor guy.
I know, I'm just kind of going off of what you went, but I don't know. You answer it however you want, man.
Well, I think what's really interesting is like if you just try to throw someone on a supercross track and just see if they could get around it, and if they can't do the jumps and get around it, then I would consider them slow, right? But anyone that can make it around a supercross track, and do all the jumps, hit the rhythm combinations, I think that's you're at a very high level. So
Sure.
yeah, if you couldn't make it around a supercross track, then I would say you would be considered slow.
Well, we're slow.
Yep.
Yeah, we're slow for
Well, you
sure.
know, I've wondered that.
But Eli and I are teammates now. Blue Crew, baby.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Blue Crew on board with the MotoXpod show. And I just got my 450, Eli, a couple weeks ago. So, yeah.
Supercross, here we come.
Next year.
That's a good point, though. I have wondered if I could. I'm like, I look at a track and I'm like, man, I think I could double my way through there, but my
Those jumps are like-
butthole would be puckered
Yeah,
for sure.
their jumps look like freaking walls.
I know,
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, let's close this thing out with a few listener questions from the Vital Forum. These guys are awesome. Lineman 225 says, let's see, do you ever listen to the James Stewart Supercross rewinds?
I see them like on Instagram, but I never watch like full episodes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I see little highlights here and there, like whatever, flicking through my feed, but I'll never just sit down for an hour and listen to those things. It's a lot of times for me when I'm racing and in the season, like the last thing I want to do is keep reliving that moment or that race. And I kind of want to, like, when I'm away from the track, I kind of just, put that event to the side, I guess, unless we need to really study something.
Yeah, I understand that. I think as I've been doing the industry stuff a little bit more with Vital, I realize like why people get burnt out.
Did you use?
Yeah, sorry. As a racer, we have so much up and down emotion, and then you really start thinking, I'm on my phone reading social media and like making myself angry. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, that's funny.
It's really, for racing, for a racer, it's toxic. Like it's not a road you really want to go down. That's for sure, because you're not seeing these people face to face, and the only person that really knows what happens is you.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Did you know the term?
For the racers, it's better to stay away, in my opinion.
Did you know the term neck burn before his podcast?
I did not for that, no.
Yeah. All right. Couple more questions here. Blockhead17 wants to know, do you ever just kick back and have a beer and burger?
In the off season, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Off season after moto and all that good jazz. Heck yeah. Yep. A little bit of lake time. Yep. Kick it back. Yep.
The nations win. Yeah.
I was there for that.
Yeah, there's my proof right there.
Yeah. Dude, Eli, I had so much footage on my phone of you and the boys and Christina Denny just downing stuff, and I was like, you know what? I better just delete all this. Just wait. We don't need this coming out. Yeah, that was a fun experience to sit back and watch you guys. That was unreal how happy you were. Okay.
Yeah.
Spoon Guy wants to know, what is your most repeated or bad habit that you easily fall into? Do you have one?
This is a general question.
Yeah, he didn't say riding or not. Okay. So yeah, if something stands out, just whatever.
Bad habit or
maybe it's something with the wife. Habit. Maybe she gets maybe the wife gets on to you about something, like leaving the lid off the milk or something. I don't know.
I gotta have something. Trying to think here.
Okay.
I think there's got to be something. I don't know. You guys totally caught. I mean, he got me good.
Okay.
Spoon Guy got me good.
All right, Spoon Guy.
Tomac, dude, he's perfect.
Spoon Guy, he's perfect, buddy.
Yeah.
No problems.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect though.
All right, couple more. I got three more for you, and we'll let you go. Mike 15. When are you going to let Beast Mode out of the cage? I kind of feel like you did at A2, but what's up?
I mean, that's what I consider Beast Mode was A2 in that last moto. Like,
yep,
just being to do everything I wanted to do, being in clean air, and just ride. I don't know, the way I wanted to ride, and won the race. So, yeah, that was my best example of this year. Yep.
Perfect. Owen Jakes, what's your funniest fan story and your favorite meal? I want a cheat meal.
Funniest fan story?
Yeah. You got,
gosh.
Anything stand out? I guess I should have sent these to you ahead of time.
Yeah, a couple of these, like I need some thinking.
Sign any babies or anything?
Oh yeah. We always sign the babies.
Wait, people actually do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen it. I've seen AP signed a boob. I saw that.
Well, yeah, boobs. Boob and a baby. I mean,
Boob's way better than a baby.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big difference.
How about just your favorite? What's your favorite cheat meal? Let's go with that. What
Okay.
You win a race. Are you going to In-N-Out?
Yeah, that definitely happens. Yeah, in California, that happens. After a late night of racing, go get a burger. But at that point, I'm just like, I'm refueling myself. I would just say, like, if I was gonna buckle to something, it's ice cream. Yep.
I think that's Barsha's thing too. He told me that a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like if I'm gonna cave, I'm gonna eat ice cream.
Dude, if you're ever in this area, East Texas, we have Bluebell. I don't know if you've ever tried it. Best ice cream
That's
in the
not
store.
like a East Texas.
It's
thing.
not everywhere, dude. It's not on the West Coast or the. What are you shaking your head at, TJ?
No, you're right.
Yeah, it's not everywhere.
But yeah,
It's
okay.
unreal.
You got to try it in Dallas.
Yeah, win in Dallas.
All right,
I'll bring
I'll
you
try
some
it
I'll bring you Bluebell when you win in Dallas. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, last one. Spare tire Sam. Any plans for your little ones to ride? Can you see yourself being a mini dad?
So my daughter and both of them are actually. My daughter and my son are both on bicycles. My little guy Noah is on a Strider, and then my daughter Lev, she's riding a bicycle already, and she's on a pedal bike on the pedal Strider.
Oh wow!
And the little dude's on the small Strider. And my son, he has like a whole nother level of energy, and I think there's a high probability that I will end up, probably racing with him because if he likes it, just because anytime he gets on the bike, he's just spazzing with energy and excitement. So I won't hold him back, that's for sure, if it's something he wants to do.
Okay, it'd be awesome to see you at the track.
But here's the thing: is I'm not a good mechanic, so I'm gonna have to work on my racing skills.
You might have
I am not. Yeah.
You might have to get crayons to come, work for you, or maybe Jelly find something else to do. But yeah,
Exactly. I'm gonna need some serious pointers because I am an absolute squid when it comes to turning in. Yeah.
Scotty wants to know if we can get one more question. He's got something. If you're down for one more.
Yeah, that's fine.
So speaking of dads, obviously your dad's a legend in itself. When you were rehabilitating and getting back into, I'm sure you were doing rides and stuff with him, nursing the injury. How long did it take you till you beat him again?
do you know if you ever beat him?
I mean, you beat him now, right?
John's the man.
I know, but I know that used to, like, probably 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think there was an interview where you said that it sometimes it was hard for you to do that, but I'm sure nowadays I don't know. I'll let you talk.
Well, here's the thing is I've been able to beat him uphill for quite a few years now, but when it comes to downhill, he can still use this like his general skill, and he just absolutely destroys me. So, like, no matter what. So, he really hasn't lost much for downhill skill and technique and speed. So it's just, I don't know. He's just an old pro, right? Like, you're not going to beat the guy going down the hill, and the way he flicks the bike and picks lines and how he carries the momentum, like even just through a switchback corner, I just can't go as fast as him. So, and I probably won't catch him.
That's awesome.
Ever.
Good for John.
Yeah.
Well, Eli, this is our 300th show. You made it amazing. This is one of my favorite interviews we've ever done. So thank you for your time. I know you don't love doing these things, so it means a lot to us. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Eli, take care. Good luck this weekend.
All right.
All right, see ya. Eli Tomac, brought to you by Troll Training. Sorry, TJ, what were you wanting to ask him?
Oh, I was just going to say he made the show because I just thought about him and Baggett's kid racing each other, and they both have famous fathers.
Yeah, I did too.
That'd be crazy.
That was great, man. Eli Tomac, brought to you by Troll Training. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
What do you guys think? Because we did try to stay away from racing a little bit. Sorry to the forum members and the listeners that we didn't get to all your questions. There were so many, and we had 30 minutes. So, but I feel like that was
I like
better than average.
Yeah, I like it when the interviews can kind of just come up organically, where it doesn't always have to be these written down questions that we think of. It just kind of flows with what we're talking about. And I thought that in that scenario, that was a really good interview for that kind of style.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's actually kind of hard to get on some of this stuff. Yeah. So
He. I mean, it's again not his favorite thing to do in the world. I mean, I'm sure most of these riders they don't. It's not. They'd rather not do this. They'd rather be spend time with their family, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so yeah, we got our next guest coming up in excuse me, about 30 minutes, Damon Bradshaw. But we want to introduce a new sponsor. They were an old sponsor that's back now. Blood Lubricants is back on board. I'll give you the floor here in just a second, TJ.
Why did he?
Oh, because I'm excited. That's why.
Yeah, well, so me too. Jeff Green and Blood Lubricants, like I said, supported the MotoXpod show before we went to Vital for a while. Listen, do you think all oil is the same?
No.
Well, it's not. It's a bit like food in that you can have all the same ingredients, but a great chef will make something that knocks your socks off. Blood Lubricants was developed from over 40 years of knowledge in the oil business and is used by racers in the most grueling motorsports on the planet, including Baja, NASCAR, Indy, NHRA, sprint cars, motocross, supercross, and many more. Blood Lubricants has a reputation for lasting longer than other brands and is known to keep your bike running up to 30 degrees cooler. Simply put, if you want the best oil you can buy in your machine, you want Blood Lubricants. That's Blood, B-L-U-D. Visit bloodlubricants.com and check out their numerous lines, including their Pro Series, Barracuda, Scorpion Blood, as well as lubricants and suspension fluids. Use promo code VMX25. That's Vital MX, right? VMX25 to save. Please go support Blood Lubricants. They're big deal.
Guys,
their oil is not the cheapest oil, but I promise you it is worth every dollar. TJ, I know you got some things you want to say.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have them back on the show, guys. For the people that are watching, they live or listening, I'm serious. I spend my money, and everybody knows me. It knows I'm cheap to buy this oil. It is that good. I do a lot of motor builds. I tear motors apart, and the race bikes that we run this stuff in, it was a night and day difference. And if you go on there, just go on there, buy their oil, give it a whirl, put that code in there, show them that you actually listen to the show, and you're going to get a great product. We're not asking y'all to be able to go buy something or give money and you don't get anything out of it. You get some of the best oil I have ever seen in my entire life, and I've been building motors for 20 years. It's genuinely that good.
The thing about it being a little bit more expensive that makes me feel bad is was that what you were running when you forgot your drain plug? I feel like.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Is the only time it doesn't work is when you're a dipshit and don't tighten your drain bolt. But I was going to say,
I bet your bike ran longer than other bikes would have.
It probably did. But what I'm trying to get at is that I know nothing about mechanicking. Obviously, I can't even tighten my drain plug. But I did notice a difference when we would run the blood versus when I would run like Motor Rex or whatever it is.
The KTM
yeah,
oil.
KTM oil. I definitely didn't notice like the engine seemed quieter. It ran cooler, and it just overall I could notice a difference, and I know nothing. So if I'm noticing a difference, and clearly it's superior.
Yeah, and I want to mention like I don't know if Jeff, the owner, will be okay with me saying this or not, but Blood Lubricants is a small company.
Yeah.
Right? He's not going to advertise with this show he needs to see a return on investment. Like he needs to, that's what he's in it for. He doesn't have the budget just to give stuff away. So we need you guys to try it and trust it and trust that this isn't just a ad because he's spending money with us. We fully believe in Blood Lubricants. I generally always run Blood Lubricants.
Yeah, I buy the stuff and we run it.
I do too. It's my oil of choice. We were turned onto it by Chris. I was turned onto it by Chris Kiefer back in like 2017 when we had another oil company on board, and I'd heard some negative things about it, and I asked Chris Kiefer, I said, hey man, like, what do you think about this oil? Because I've heard that some teams that are sponsored by him don't actually use it. And he goes, let me just tell you something. The secret is Blood Lubricants. He said, I'm about to sneeze. So say something about blood.
Yeah. So they came onto the show, and when we were before part of the Vital Network, and like I was blown away because I ran other oils, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a whirl. And at the time, my son was racing Cowies. We had to build those motors regularly, and it literally doubled the life of the clutch and the piston wear. I know no one's going to believe me because I'm going on and gushing about it, but I genuinely think it's that good.
I do too. I trust Chris with stuff like that. And when he told me the bikes are running cooler and that lasts longer, and then when I would run the stuff and it would come out, it looks after 20 hours, 30 hours, it looks just like it went in. It's just amazing. So Yeah, Blood Lubricants. Please, please, please use those guys. Support them. VMX25 to save. We good? Yeah. Okay. What I want to do, this was another topic suggested by Lewis Phillips. He thought this would be interesting. So we're going to call this week the Blood Lubricants Hot Topic. And he kind of wanted to know a little bit more about the MotoXpod show's history, things that we thought we did right, things that we would have done differently. TJ, and you and I have been, you've been involved since almost day one. Yeah. So for those that are listening that don't know.
Since the third show.
Okay, the show started in 2016, mid-2016, I think. I came on as a guest, episode 5 or 6, I don't even remember, maybe 4.
Yours was, I think you came on after
6.
So we did some shows under a different name. We did like 4 or 5 of those. And then another podcast, which is in Europe that does road racing stuff, had that name. I don't even remember what it was exactly now. And so we changed it to the MotoXpod Show, and we started at number 1 when we changed the name.
Okay.
So
there were a couple of shows before that.
So there's like 10 shows we did before you came in.
Yeah, so the MotoXpod Show, or what was it called before? Okay, you don't remember.
It was called the MotoPod, I think. But there was another podcast that had that name, and so a couple of our friends locally, Phil Gates and Mark Poole, started the show. They invited you, got involved, and kind of helped technologically with some better equipment and recording devices. And then you kind of like, hey, I know Jamie Darkside, because at that time I was just calling to the Pulp Show. Had me come in as a guest. I guess it went well enough that you were guys, hey, you want to be a part of it? So the 4 of us. If I remember right, I think I was talking to Shand, and I had asked him about like how I thought you would do. I think I remember that, Shand Garcia.
I don't think you ever told me that.
Yeah, and
Shand Garcia, Berm Lords, Shock Socks.
Yeah, and talking to him, the owner of Shock Socks, and he was our first quasi sponsor. Like Shand,
but that came from me.
But that came from you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like I'm letting people know like.
Oh, okay.
But talking with him and somehow you came up, and he was like, yeah, he'd be good on there. And so that's how I don't remember if I had your number, if I had to get it from Shand. I don't remember.
Well, yeah, anyway,
but I've known you for years before that.
We started just doing, or it was started as just like talking about local races and kind of watching Supercross and maybe a little bit. And as I got involved, I think we reached out. Like our first guest, I went back and looked. Do you remember who it was?
The first big guest?
First guest outside of like a first person that raced professionally.
It would had to have been the sheriff, right?
Nope. I thought so too. It was Scotty Winterstrom.
Scotty.
Yeah.
That makes sense because Scotty's been a friend of mine forever.
Episode 8 was me and Scotty Winterstrom.
Yeah.
And then after that, you had me come on.
More regular.
Yeah, and then over time, as you guys kind of got me more involved, I knew some local guys like Billy Whitley, who used to race professionally and run race teams. I knew Charlie Bogard, who was a professional racer.
That's right.
So we started getting those kind of guys on.
Like old racers.
Yeah, not from Texas guys, basically. Texas guys. And I don't know, at that time, there might have been 20 listeners, 10 listeners, who knows?
Maybe. I think by the time you came on, our average downloads we were excited when it went over 100.
Oh, really? I didn't even know it was that.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, we went to what at the time was the Nitro Arena Cross.
Okay.
Which is now the GT Arena Cross, the non-AMA one.
But it's not Arena Cross anymore.
Or Arena Motocross.
Arena Motocross.
And it was in Mesquite, Texas.
Yeah.
And Josh Demuth was in the crowd.
Yep.
And I was like, I remember,
R.I.P.
Yeah. And I remember kind of walking past him a few times, trying to get the nerve to go talk to him and ask him to come on the show.
Sporting Woods just sent us $20 and said congratulations on show 300.
Dude,
now fix Scotty's bike.
That money just goes to Vital. So
yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah. Vital gets returned on this show.
Sure. Anyway, and it started growing. We started getting some other guys on. I think a buddy of mine had bought a bike from Robbie Raynard, and he still had his number, so he gave it to me, and I just texted Robbie randomly. He responded, came on the show. I met Guy Cooper at Diamond Don's vet race. Got him to come on the show.
That.
Okay, I didn't, but that's how we got his number.
I had his number.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we got him on.
Yeah.
I met him.
Yep.
Got him on. Then I texted him. It's like, I don't know if this is crossing a line, but I know you're friends with Trey Kennard.
Yeah.
Would you ask him to come on the show? And like 3 days later, I got a text from Trey Kennard, and like I was freaking out.
I don't remember that.
Like fanboying because this was all brand new. And that's sort of how it started growing, right? And then in 2017, I went to Lakewood, Colorado. That was the first thing we ever did as
That was
media.
the first media pass.
Met Blake Baggett, Weege, everybody started getting numbers. And from then on, it was just going to races with our own money, building connections.
Can't take that Baggett jersey back home.
Yeah, it's not yours. Growing the show. Like, what are some, Scotty, you came on a little bit later, and we're going to get to that, obviously. The other guys just kind of lost interest in spending enough time and doing the show, so we parted ways with Mark and Phil. But, like, what are some things that, when you look back, does anything stand out? Like, I wish we had done this differently, or anything you're proud of, or anything mistakes we made? Because
I don't know. Because the way we first started doing it, when we had, I don't know if we could have done it different. We weren't inside media. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we could have pushed harder to be in the limelight sooner. I guess I'm going to say limelight as far as getting to races. But I think that first year or so, when we were just doing Texas, covering that stuff, allowed us to get comfortable with the stuff, allowed us to work on sound quality. It's always been really important to me.
Because it was bad in the beginning.
It was, oh my God. That's why
I can't listen to the old shows.
Yeah, but we really tried. And then I have a buddy of mine that people don't know was kind of behind the scenes named Mike LaRue, who was a professional, like, radio disc jockey, not like a DJ scratching a record. Yep. And he really helped me get the right equipment to make the sound better and that kind of stuff. But I don't know if we could have done it different.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't think of any mistakes or things I regret.
We had some issues where,
I mean, we pre-recorded the original shows and would just throw, I don't even know if we did commercial breaks at first.
No,
when we started getting ads, and we would just pre-record those and throw them in.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of miss our old commercials.
I like the ones that my daughters did. Those stood out. But
the commercials were awesome. I do miss that. I think we could interject those in here now too. I have pre-recorded stuff. Even though we're live, we could, put those in. But anyways.
Yeah, just looking back, like, I just think for the history of the show, a lot of it came down to building relationships with people in the industry. And I feel like I got really lucky.
I think your personality is what, like something I saw right off the bat was your personality and the way that, and I'd seen it at the track, but it was really, and I'm not sitting here like blowing you basically, but the show.
Thank you, because I would not enjoy that. I would not enjoy that.
We get demonetized, but the thing is that we would. I saw that from the very early. I even told you, I'm like, bro, you're gonna be. I don't know if you remember this, but I kept telling you, you're gonna make a living out of this one day. And that was kind of my goal for the show, was to get it to where somebody could make a living out of it, and I knew you could. I don't have the personality for that.
I guess I was just willing to go up and talk to people.
Yep.
Even though, like, at the first few times, probably for the first year or so, like, I remember being, like, kind of shaking a little bit, being nervous to talk to these people, and asking a Blake Baggett in 2017 or an Austin Faulkner for their phone number was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like they were like, who is this guy, right? Nobody knew. And I have to say, we got a lot of praise, a lot of thanks to Sean Brennan.
And to Steve Mathis.
Yeah, Mathis obviously helped, but he didn't help in the very beginning.
But he didn't. But he gave you another platform for other people who listen.
Yeah.
And your nickname
kind of took off, I guess.
Took off. Like, I don't think we would be where we are without.
Oh, no. For sure, Steve helped with those things. But going to Supercross in 18, the first round was in Houston that year. And we went to that. Right. I went to that race.
That's right.
And they gave us. We actually got our credentials through Erin Berge, I think was her name. Mm-hmm. She used to work for Phil. I don't think she does anymore. But I met Sean, and he continued to give me credentials throughout the year. And like the next year in 19, they had adjusted the rules a little bit for podcasts. At least I was told, like, at that time, you needed to have at least 10,000 downloads a week to get a credential. Yeah. And we weren't anywhere near that. No. And I even remember texting or calling Daniel Blair, who was heavy into main event moto at the time. I was like, what are your numbers? He's like, yeah, I'm getting like 7,000 or 8,000. I was like, okay, so you probably wouldn't even get a credential either. But Sean had already met us the year before and said, you're okay, you're good. And they really started cracking down on just random podcasts showing up to do media at that point. And we were very lucky we got in when we did, and that Sean seemed to take a liking to me and the show. And so very, very fortunate for that. I don't remember what number you came in, Scotty. But
so I guess if we're gonna, are we about to transition into my history with it? Or?
Yeah, we're doing it as a whole.
Okay, well, so I was gonna ask you guys a question because I came in on episode 165.
Okay.
And I had never really listened to y'all's show before. I knew that you guys did one. I didn't really know y'all. I mean, I knew TJ a little bit, and I'd seen you and had a couple interactions. I think one of my buddies bought goggles from you at one point.
Oh yeah,
and, we ate breakfast or something like that. But other than that, I really didn't know you guys very well. And I was at a local race, broke a clutch lever. Someone said, "Ask TJ. TJ always has spare parts." Have a conversation with him about.
I thought we were best friends, so now I'm
You did not think that. You didn't even know who I was.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I knew you more than you realized.
Yeah, we. So I had a conversation with him, looking for a clutch lever, and then it turned into, "How's the show going?" He's like, "Well, actually, we need somebody to help us fill in because I'm about to start working in the oil field again, and I need somebody to fill in." And the first show, he's like, "Yeah," I was like, "Yeah, hit me up." I was like, "I'm totally down to try that." And the first show I did was 165, and it was Davey Coombs, Ferrandis, and Tomac's mechanic. I think it was Crans at the time.
Well, Crans was. You said Tomac. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the question I was going to ask you guys was, so that was when I got there, and he said, he gave me your number, and you told me who was going to be on. Have your questions ready. I was like, oh, that's not who I was expecting. Like Bogarts and guys like that. And then when he told me who we were having on the show, I was like, holy crap. Like, I kind of got nervous and a little starstruck talking to Davey Coombs and Ferrandis and guys like that. So the question I have for y'all is, that was summer of 2020. At what point do y'all feel like y'all broke that threshold? Because when I came into the episode, y'all were already kind of at that point where having those guests didn't really phase y'all that much. Having that caliber of guest.
I don't think it's phased me ever.
Well, I know, but I mean, it seemed like just another episode at that point.
Yeah, it was. So you're asking when did it get?
Yeah, at what point do y'all feel like that threshold really broke? Like maybe episode number?
I don't know if I can give you a number. I would say like 18 was the first year we really started getting I'll call big guests.
Yeah.
So probably somewhere in 2018.
Yeah.
But then there were still guys like when we got McGrath for the first time or Eli for the first time that I was still a little bit, oh boy, like it felt like a different level. Some of those guys that we were getting regularly, like back then, Cooper Webb would come on a bunch. Like I just felt like I built a little bit of a relationship with, so I was comfortable. But I would say mid 18 to end 18 where I started going, okay, this is just kind of normal now.
So probably like 60, 70 episodes in, somewhere around there. Yeah. It takes a while. So anybody that's thinking about doing it, I mean, like
it's a grind.
It's
a lot of work.
Years, yeah.
The amount of work that he put into the show, like I said, I'm not the person to do what he did. There's no way my personality and me could have done what he's done. The amount of work and effort that you put in, that's where the show's at. You know what I mean?
Because here I am, almost doing this with you guys for this summer will be 4 years that I've been doing this with y'all.
Yeah.
And I haven't even done almost half, but not even half the episodes that you guys have done. So
you're still just a placeholder, so don't get too
this discussion history on MotoXpod Show is brought to you by Blood Lubricants. Don't forget promo code VMX25 at bloodlubricants.com, and that is a blood with a U. BLUD. And I want to remind you guys, FXR is one of our big sponsors, and we're giving away a casual set, which we already have our winner from YouTube. So you guys, if you don't listen live, you kind of miss out on that. I understand not everybody can.
So that's why we give away.
But we're giving a set of gear away. If you didn't hear the question, email us, motoxpodshow@gmail.com. The question is, what year did Cody Webb win his first Endurocross championship? We'll pick a random winner for a set of gear from FXR. If you haven't checked out the new line of Helium or Revo, go to your local dealership, ask for FXR. Dude, it is some of the best gear made on the market. It's fantastic. I love the stuff. Appreciate the guys at FXR, Brad, Andy, Milt, everybody. Go ahead, TJ.
I wonder if we could figure out what our first giveaway was.
I think it was Shock Socks.
Oh, it's right.
Yeah, because Shannon was the first one to give us. And we were doing, there was no money involved. It was just like, hey, we're nobody. If we could just give some product away here and there.
Make us look more.
And then what was the
Did we give
PMP Sprockets came on board. We gave some sprockets away. That was a local Texas sprocket company.
And didn't we do a helmet painting deal?
Kirk Hunter, one of our buddies here in Texas who paints helmets,
Yep.
Extreme Colors.
Mm-hmm.
He painted some helmets for us. We did some those. Fly would give us helmets,
Yep.
and he would paint them.
Yep.
If you guys are looking for a custom painted helmet, Extreme Colors. That's Extreme with just an X, XTREME.
Yep.
Colors with a K.
He's still
still
absolutely.
painting helmets.
Yeah.
I've got
Saw some this
three.
weekend.
They're not on camera, but I got 3 or 4 behind you
Yeah.
that he's painted. Yep. Kirk does a good job. I believe the prices are just under $400 for a fully painted custom helmet.
I saw
He's-
two
he-
guys this weekend with
Yep.
his paint jobs on.
He's
them.
been doing that since I was a kid.
Yeah. So, but one of the questions that Lewis asked was like, do we have any regrets or anything we would have done differently? And we kind of touched on that. And I can't really think of anything because we really didn't know what the hell we were doing. Like,
Right.
if
Letting
I
me
could
be
say,
a part of the show.
if I could say, yeah, if we start over and I know everything I know now, then I would maybe try to format the show differently. Like, we would maybe not have some of the guests on as often as we did.
I don't know. I mean,
But nothing just stands out because I think the show is what it is because of the trials that in the learning and I don't feel like we made any major mistakes. The first time I had Eli on, I effed up. I gave him the wrong time zone and then blew that whole thing and didn't get the interview. And so maybe be more careful with time zones. That kind of sucked.
I think I've been great the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah. People have asked me what I like, hey, you do a podcast. Like, whoa, I mean, everybody wants a podcast nowadays.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, what all do I need to do to get that? And I'm like, man, it's like to do it at the, like, and we're still, in the level, the world of podcasts, we're still really small.
Sure.
And the equipment and the stuff that we do and that we have just to do what we do is, I mean, it's a lot. It's not just grabbing a camera and having a couple of beers with your buddies and doing it. Like there's a lot of work that goes.
I mean, you can do that, but
but there's a lot of equipment and stuff that it takes.
It's
to
a
do all
lot of
this.
time, and when you work a regular job like I did at the time, you're doing that in the evenings, and your
You almost
chick,
quit a few times.
yeah, your chick maybe is getting upset because like you don't like no, I got a show tonight, or
Yeah.
I got to do this research or whatever, and you got to go to the races in the beginning, and nobody's paying for that. You just do it, and you basically it's a hobby. And you have to just keep grinding and build the relationships. And that takes time. Those guys need to learn who, like I literally, for those that don't know, when the first few races I went to, probably for a year or two, I would go buy like $60 in donuts and take them to every team and meet the PR
That's right.
people and the mechanics and say, hey man, I'm Darkside, and I do this podcast and just, yeah.
So
I'd love
the girls at the wheel call, you'd bring donuts.
Dude, take donuts to the girls at Will Call when it's Supercross season in freaking Minneapolis and it's 30 degrees and they're sitting in there shivering.
And we were making
and
no
people
money.
are pissed off because they didn't get the memo that this person's supposed to have this pass and everybody's yelling at them and I take them donuts.
And we weren't making any money. Like most
No.
of the stuff was because I happened to have a decent job at the time and be able to put money into the show.
Yeah,
for
you did.
stuff.
You paid for some of the early trips. Yeah, I remember that. Now that you say it, I'd kind of forgotten. But that's really a lot
And then
of
he gives my gear away.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Go ahead.
Dark.
T-shirts available. Darkside MX3 at
So he
AOL.
can buy some donuts
Darkside
and
MX3
give
on
away.
Instagram.
Yeah, pay TJ back.
We got some shirts to ship out. Yeah, maybe I'll give
Yeah.
TJ $25 or something.
Hey, I don't even get it, guys. I don't even get a free shirt. So if you get those shirts, if you ever see anybody in those,
You'll get a
shirts,
free shirt eventually, just not the first run. Nobody's getting free shirts.
You get that shirt, then you know you're in a elite crowd.
Yeah. One of the I will it's different now because you're part of Vital and you're paid by them, but I'm
Wait, pay, I'm supposed to get paid?
y'all are getting paid. One of the things that I wish would have gone further and would have gotten to do more of, because when I think about that trip that I took where Doc was racing futures and we went to Arizona.
Oh, yeah, Glendale.
Man, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
That trip lives in my memories real hard and
Real hard.
yeah, that was not the correct
Walk
word.
hard.
It's in my memory real hard.
Yeah, that was a poor choice of words on my part. But anyways,
Bet it is, Scotty. I bet it is.
I really enjoyed that. I had fun learning that kind of world with you guys, and it was. I wish there could have been more where I could go to more of the races. Obviously, that's not really in the cards now, but I definitely have enjoyed being a part of this show and look forward to more.
Before we get to Damon Bradshaw,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
did you?
No, it was just like
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, where's
I
the
was like,
boot
oh,
house?
Man, Scotty, we're so glad
thank you.
that you're still here. We look forward to more
Thank
with you
you.
as well, Scotty.
Oh man, makes my heart
You know
feel
what?
good. Makes my
Put
heart.
it on the wide shot for a minute.
It is.
Can they see the towel?
They can see the boot house.
Yeah.
The Blue Crew boot
blue-
towel. We hung that up just for Scotty when we hurt his
Cry towel.
feelings.
Yeah.
He can go take it off the wall, wipe his tears,
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
it back up. Blue Crew. Yeah.
Love you
okay.
too, man.
Let's do this. Anything in the next couple years, like advancements you'd like to see the MotoXpod show, guests you'd like to get on. Obviously, the graphics. Our guy Sean Ogden's crushing the graphics. The show keeps looking better. But like, TJ? What do you want to see improve or next for the MotoXpod show?
I like it the way it is. I know it sounds crazy to say, but
I told Sean, can you please quit making it try to look any better? Like it's enough because it's a lot to learn right away.
yeah. But no,
It actually really hasn't been that bad. I haven't.
Have you made any mistakes that you're aware of?
I don't
Not
think
really.
I don't.
Not really. It's not a no.
I've only seen things pop up once or twice.
Yeah,
So-
maybe I flipped a camera to the wrong person like once or twice, but other than that,
I think we need to rebuild the studio.
Well, we're not going to rebuild, but we're going to clean it up.
I think we need to redesign it completely
We're going to do some work, but I don't know when that's going to be
soon.
because I'm never
hopefully.
home.
I'm home all the time now.
You are, but I'm not letting you at my house when I'm not here. I don't trust you.
I'll bring Kathy over.
I mean, hey,
I mean, Kiefer let you. So.
yeah. I mean, we did some bad things in that hot tub, Kiefer. Sorry. Yeah, I don't need that in my house though. I don't have a hot tub.
Moving on.
one of the
Yeah.
things that I would like to see us be able to eventually do would be to take phone calls.
Yeah, that would mean probably somebody not being on camera because you're going to have to be off the side and taking
Yeah.
calls, and that's and then that
Is it has to be that way.
Yes.
well, yeah, because it has to be a phone system where you can go.
I couldn't
Hello.
I couldn't like have the camera on you and mute myself.
No.
Like you,
Well,
that's a
no,
to-
it would be that's kind of what
It's
I
a
would.
totally different system that you got to be able to take the call and us not hear you. You be able to say, okay,
you
what
just mute me and I take
then?
the call.
What are you going to talk to them on? Because the mic
Oh,
would be hooked
yeah.
to the phone.
It's a whole
What
different
is-
setup.
What does Talon them do? He
They have
he
a
picks up the
completely
phone?
different. Yeah, he actually answers the phone, I think, and then
I could just
but
mute this and pick up the phone and
yeah,
then
but that needs to
patch
be
it
needs to
through.
be off camera, and you got to make sure.
Well, yeah, it'd be on you. It's on you right now. They can't see me.
I don't see it happening anytime soon. I
No,
don't,
I don't
want
know.
to take calls.
That's
I think
It's just
specifics, but-
extra.
I don't know about taking calls, which
Because we barely get through
I mean, you
our
asked what I
questions
would-
now. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not. It's not a horrible idea.
I like the idea of taking calls, and I think it would work with my idea of how the studio should be set up. But nobody wants to listen to me because I don't know nothing.
Well, you want somebody off camera in the corner like
Yes.
Steve does.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe things will change down the road. I don't know. Right now we're where we are, but I do want to tighten the studio up. I want to clean up like that wall opening behind you that goes into my kitchen. Yeah, it looks a
We
little
got
janky.
plans.
The laundry room to my right, it looks a little janky. It's better than what we had a couple years ago, and even better than what we had a couple years before that. We're
Remember
getting
that
there,
little tiny building?
dude. I know. Or think about like your spare bedroom.
My spare bedroom, literally.
So yeah, but we didn't have cameras then. So it's come a long way, and it's going to get better. And we appreciate our listeners that have been here from the beginning, and the listeners that keep coming on. And
Sporting Wood said I would abuse the phone calls.
my buddy, I didn't. Eric, you're listening. My buddy Eric Radford. Do you guys remember the cowboy that was shown at A1 that was holding? They showed him. He had a feature. I think they actually showed it.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
That's
talking
my
about.
buddy Eric from Texas.
He held Plessinger's hat.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my buddy Eric. He's listening right now. He's Aaron Plessinger, super fan.
Oh,
But he just said he just said a contractor. So
Yeah.
all right, Eric, drive your ass up here. Let's get this thing built, man. Bring the materials because we don't have any kind of budget.
That's true. ML,
But, hey,
we need
you
budget.
rebuild my studio, I'll get you an Aaron Plessinger jersey.
Oh.
Oh, do you have one?
Hey, AP Radford, plug your ears real quick.
Yeah.
I've already got him one coming. I was going to surprise him. Hopefully he plugged his ears. He doesn't know, but AP is going to hook me up with a jersey for Eric. So
That's awesome.
he's one of the best dudes on the planet. Eric is. Okay.
Better than me?
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I'm going to work on getting Damon on the Metal Hall of Fame. Though you're not into that. You don't really care about music, TJ. But Scotty, you like some of that music.
That's not true.
Okay. What would meeting Tom Morello or meeting Sebastian Bach mean much to you?
No, I'm going to say that it probably wouldn't mean much
Okay.
to me because I don't know who those people are, but it doesn't mean I don't like music. Like I know.
No, I know that. I just meant like to meet those guys and go to that thing. I was wondering I think Scotty would enjoy that.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that for sure.
Do you know who all these artists are? And like
Oh,
you
yeah,
can be
vaguely.
like, I know what
Who's
band
Sebastian
they're in.
Bach?
He's the lead
a
singer.
piano
He was
player?
the singer
Was.
for Quiet Riot.
Wrong.
Wasn't
Wait,
he
hold
like
on.
a piano player that wrote like?
That's Johann Sebastian Bach.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I'm not Quiet Riot.
Nope.
Twisted Sister?
No, you put me on the spot, and now I can't think of it.
Bob Marley?
The Bob Marley.
Skid Row.
Skid Row, yeah. I know who Sebastian Bach is. I brain farted.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I've been there. I'll give you that one. And then Tom Morello, obviously, most people know who he is.
yeah, I
shaking-
don't really know who he is.
See, that's what I'm saying. Nobody
That
cares.
blows my mind.
I do like metal and rock, but I'm more of like classic 70s, 80s.
What, you like
sorry.
Tesla and like those bands and Skid Row's that
but
era.
but I really don't know the
I like
names.
Elon Musk.
I don't know like individual artists or musicians that were in the band's
Idiot.
names very well.
Okay.
Here's my problem with music. I have never seen anybody do something in music that some 13-year-old kid can't do.
Okay.
So I mean,
Well,
yes, they made the songs. And
So
yes, they were,
there are artists like an Eddie Van Halen who you and I'd argue about. People play stuff and it sounds similar.
It sounds
It's not being played technically the same way, or
sounds the same.
it doesn't to some I'm gonna agree. To me, I've heard people play Eruption and I go, oh, that sounds the same. But to a real musician, oh no, there's notes being missed. There's not playing it the right way. There are guys that can do things that others can't.
I see people online that are 13-year-old kids in Venezuela that are doing things on guitars I've never heard before. So
Okay, that's still badass. It's amazing.
It's badass.
Right.
What I'm getting at is, but the people who are the famous people, they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. They're not any better than these other
Some
people.
of them absolutely are. There are definitely musicians like Eddie who a lot of the other great guitar players say, I can't play that. I cannot play the way he played. What he's doing, we can't wrap our brain around. Now, me, not being a musician, I can't wrap my brain around that concept. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But these great guitar players are going, yeah, what Eddie did, can't do. The greatest guitar players alive will say, even Eric Clapton said, when he saw Jimi Hendrix play, he cried. And he almost was like, I'm just done. Because I'll never be able to do that. I don't know what that is, but that is badass. I don't know. I don't really understand it at the technical level.
Because I don't even have a grasp of what it takes to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I've watched, like I said, I don't know. Anyways, I like music, but yeah, you're making it sound like I don't like music.
No, I don't. I just don't think you would care about going to that event. And for me, meeting Sebastian Bach was a big deal. He's one of my favorite singers of all time.
Yeah.
I have one of his lyrics tattooed on my arm.
Yeah.
Which was funny because he didn't recognize it.
That's even better.
Yeah, that was the fun. That was the highlight. I would say getting to meet Sebastian was cool. And I was like, hey, I've got a lyric. Do you recognize it? And he looked at my arm real close. He's like, no. And I was like, it's from Live and Die.
No, man, I don't remember
on your
singing that
first
song.
solo album. And I started doing the song. He goes, and you see the recognition kick in. He's like, oh my God, I feel like an idiot. I'm pretty sure he didn't write that song. That's probably why he didn't remember it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the famous people are just, anyways.
Yeah, I'm 100% not get a song lyric tattooed on my arm, but
it's a great lyric, so you don't have to. But that was a highlight for me. I just was wondering if you guys would dig going. But our next guest of the night's on the line, and he's going to be brought to you by Guts Racing. I'm looking for the read.
Did you invite him?
He wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep, Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. Don't forget, they also have complete seats for the Talari and Super 73 and covers for the Suron and Segway. They strive to ship orders within 36 hours, so visit gutsracing.com. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us the legend, the beast from the East, Damon Bradshaw, another one of my teammates at Yamaha. What's up, Damon?
Hey, man, how are you?
We're doing good. We just talked to Eli Tomac a little bit ago. We talked a little bit about the history of the show because this is show 300. And now we got one of my favorite guys in the industry, man, Damon. Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to have you on tonight is because we bumped into each other at A2, and you found out I had a Yamaha, and you asked if you could borrow my bike, and the answer is no. I don't trust you.
That's a good choice. You don't let people borrow your shit.
Yeah. When did you learn that lesson?
Oh, I got to say, I've learned it more than once.
Well, no, I just wanted to get you on, man, because you're always fun to have on, and you have great opinions. And so far this season has been pretty great. The weather has sucked at 2 of the rounds, but I feel like it's made for a very unusual and diverse results, and it's kind of made it exciting so far.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think just with the mud and the riders that were potentially to dominate the season, I just think it changed it mentally, and the mud changed it. And then obviously with the old other BS of the helmet jerking and neck adjustment and all that stuff has changed a lot of things. I mean, I think mentally for the guys, and it was definitely blown out of proportion way more than what I thought it should have been. Everybody has opinions. We know that. But I just think the riders handle it, and that should have been the end of it. You know, Jet should have got a smack on the hand, and you guys go about your business, and let's see how this works itself out. Yeah, that's my feeling.
Well, I was curious what your thoughts on that were. And we have some listener questions for you here in a minute, and they were asking about that because, I mean, you've had your share of run-ins, right? You've had run-ins McGrath, Chicken, I think Kudrowski.
List goes on.
Yeah, a long list. And, you know, and I wondered what you thought about how things are handled a little differently these days. And Jet getting booed, that was intense. Like, I really feel like the fans are kind of turning on the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with all of that, right? We all make mistakes. We're racers. I'd say a big percentage of us are pretty damn hot-headed, and it's in the heat of the moment, right? And I think nobody really takes that into consideration. Maybe some do. So I think it's, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked about it much. I did a little bit with Ryan and RC back, last weekend, and everybody has their opinions of it, but I just think they needed to go on. I think the guys had their discussion about it, and that was the end of it. No different than what me and Jeremy did clear back in the day, right? I mean, yeah, we weren't throwing punches, but one of us probably could have grabbed one of theirs helmet. Listen, this is what I'm trying to say. All right, end of conversation. We go about our business. There probably would have been nothing else about it, but today's times have changed with cameras and, phones and social media and all of that. So I just, I mean, I don't know either one of the guys personally. Mm-hmm. I know what we see and what we, I guess if you could say you think you know them, I think, Jason's aggressive, and I like that. I like to see that type of racing. Yeah, you don't want to see anybody run in and break somebody's leg, but the way these tracks are, the riders, how good they all are, you got to be aggressive. There's no way around it. You're going to have to rub elbows, and you're going to have to fight like that to gain positions, especially when you have a good guy that gets a 10th to 15th place start. I mean, if he's going to be a contender at the end of that race, he's going to have to get rough. Yeah, I feel like. Yeah. And, so, and then with all of the apologizing or whatever, that just, I mean, when you have somebody apologize for you and you do this and you do that, I was always like, if you were in the wrong, it doesn't really hurt that bad to say, I'm sorry, let's move on. Yep, I was hot-headed, let's go. Or the other ways, like it was with me a lot of times, there wasn't no sorry shit. We just went racing and we did the best we could do, yeah. So anyways, I don't know. I don't like to continue to talk about it because here we are blowing it out more than what it was.
That's true, yeah.
I just think it should have been simplified a lot, and the boys should have went on about their way and went racing, and I think they would have figured it out, because I think that, and again, I don't know him, but I think Jet would have went on about his racing, and unless he jacked with Jason again, they just would have continued racing the way they always have. I don't think, because of now with all the probation stuff and all this whatever, I just think the guys would have raced no differently against one another if they both would have treated one another with a little bit of respect.
Fair,
Yeah, and I think they'd have went on. So but anyways, but no, it's pretty cool. I mean, when you told me your deal, and obviously I work closely with Yamaha, and you told me that, I was jazzed. So I think it's cool, man. More guys on Yamahas, you got to like it.
Yeah, I got a shout out to Mike Ulrich for making that happen, and he also hooked me up with one of the e-bikes and Yamaha. I mean, they came on board with the show. First of all, that was big, and I want to ask you some Yamaha questions here in a minute, but Scotty's got a question for you first.
Yeah, it was kind of what we've been talking about with the jet thing.
Oh, you're just going to continue on. Way to go, Scotty.
That's all right. That's all right.
It's different.
Okay.
Do you think that he has that Jet has dug himself a hole with the fans that you think he'll be able to get out of it and get that fanship back, or do you think he's kind of turned off some people that maybe he shouldn't have?
No, I think he will. I think if he gets out there and continues to do what he's capable of and just puts it behind him. I mean, it's really hard for these guys these days because there's so much information on your phone, and it's hard not to run across it. I mean, I think about it all the time when you get a little bit of the chitter chatter about guys. I remember I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to read it. I didn't look at the magazines. I didn't want to know it. I just wanted to do what I knew how to do. So I think if he can do that and he can do what he knows how to do, I think those fans will come back. If they're not smart enough to realize he's not a kid, but he's obviously not a seasoned veteran. Right. So give him a little credit for making a mistake. Let it be what it is. I think he learned and move on. Yeah. And I think he'll be fine. I mean, I think, the California rounds are tough on guys. There's no doubt in my mind that he can't turn those fans around. I mean, I know in my time, you go to Anaheim, I wasn't a favorite Anaheim. California guys were, whether it was RJ or Matasevich in those areas. And I thought about a lot of like, when you go in for intros and you kind of judge yourself for where you are when it comes to crowd response, I want them all on my side. How do I do that? Does it come natural, or something got to stop? And I just think writing, speaking your peace of mind, giving credit where credit's due, I think he'll be fine. I think he can turn those people around. I mean, the kid is obviously amazing, and if he just does what he knows how to do, I think he'll bring him back.
Yep.
Yeah. A few minutes ago, we had another American hero like yourself on the on the deal with Eli, and he kind of said the same thing about staying away from like social media. He's like, I got to stay away from it. I got to keep myself off of it so I just don't go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, no, and I'm sure it's hard for them. I mean, when you have spare time, you click on there and you see all this BS and keyboard warrior stuff. But I think if they just keep their head clean and do what they know how to do, and it's definitely way different now. I mean, I think about it a lot, and I'm not completely tuned into Supercross or motocross just because I do so many different things. I get bits and pieces of it, and you think about it. It's like, man, it's definitely not gotten any easier. And the freaking depth of the field. I mean, it's like the other night, I love the Triple Crown, and I know the riders have their opinions about it, but from a fan standpoint, which I didn't get to watch much of the race because I was talking to people, I actually got home and rewatched it all when I got home after being there, just because you're busy and I haven't been to a round, and so you catch up with everybody. But man, it's freaking awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love just seeing the change. For the future of the sport, watching the futures is a very positive thing. Seeing how those kids were racing, and we're going to get that for the next 10 years probably. It's going to be amazing.
Wow. Oh, it was. I mean, that to me, and I knew they were on the track, but I didn't get to watch it at all, the features. And then when I got home and got to watch that race, I'm like, that was really cool. I mean, it was probably the best back and forwards on the edge racing all night.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, and
I mean, there were some other good battles, but that one was really good.
I told these guys earlier, I was really impressed with the racecraft of those two, especially Cole Davies, who we don't know a lot about. Like, they weren't just running it in, trying to take each other out. They were racing aggressively, but clean.
They were.
It was very, very impressive. At the end of this, I want to get to some listener questions, but you sort of touched on one, so I want to bring this particular question up. From our forum members. Spoon Guy wants to know, what do you think of the quote unquote most stacked field ever hype? And what advice would you give to some of these young phenoms coming up like a Jet or Hunter or Hayden Deegan?
Well, I would say Hunter's past the point, because I loved it when, let's just say, the new guy or the young guy or whatever, and you're coming into the premier class. Jets past that, because you look at it, there really is no pressure because there's nothing expected of you yet. Everything you do is typically a gain or a positive when it comes to your results and how you carry yourself. Well, Jet's past that. He's already showed us that he can win, so now it's expected. So for him, that pressure that he's probably never had is there. I mean, even though he went undefeated last year in the outdoors, it's expected. I mean, we all ask ourselves when you don't win, well, what happened to Jet? That's just common. If you didn't watch anything, and that was the whole story back to me years ago. When you win the first big one, when you don't win after that, well, what happened? Well, you couldn't have just had a bad day. It was what happened. Well, you had a bad day. You fell down the bike, whatever. So that pressure. But for these young guys, I mean, I think to me, that's a much better feeling than it is almost being a veteran or a seasoned guy that's had the results, because now it's expected.
Yeah.
And when you don't, it's looked down upon. So all these new guys, I think it's much easier for them. And I think it's a cool position, but once they're there, man, that pressure stacks on and everybody deals with it differently. And some guys perform well and some don't, because we have guys that qualify well and they don't race well.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's a lot of riders that are much faster than these guys that are running up front right now during the week.
Oh,
but when it comes time for racing, they just can't put it together, whether it's a start or whether it's mental or whether it's the pressure or whatever. It's just forever changing.
What about the most stacked hype thing? Does that offend you at all, or do you kind of agree? Like, where do you fall when they say that?
No, I think it is. I mean, everybody wants to look back, whether it was during your time or my time or whatever. It was more competitive and the bikes are this and the tracks are this or whatever. I think it's all relative. I think it definitely is stacked, and I think it's good for Supercross because we only got two guys that can win. To me, it loses its excitement by a long shot. And I think right now, everybody's still wondering, who's going to be that dominator, or are we going to have one?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're in a position to have one of our best, most exciting season for fans in general and for Supercross, because we just know that competitiveness is there, and I like it, man. It just keeps it interesting. I mean, if one guy was dominating or we had two guys that were doing it, it doesn't take long to get boring. Now, as far as that rider, you love it. You laugh all the way to the bank and don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Damon Bradshaw tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg sent me my new gripper seat cover. It's going on the Yamaha in the morning. Those things are the best. In the morning. Hit up Guts Racing. Damon Bradshaw also, we're going to say, brought to you by Yamaha Motor USA.
Do you work on your own bikes?
I do, yeah.
Or do you have a factory mechanic that came with that deal? Because if you do, I'm gonna need to call them and talk to them, because I don't got one.
I haven't gotten to the level of getting a mechanic yet, Damon. Not yet.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't either, man. I work on my own stuff. So
yeah, my co-host here, TJ, does the work that I can't do. He's my mechanic.
That's
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damon. Back into when you were racing and how you thought when you looked ahead to how you thought this sport would evolve and what you thought Supercross would become, how close to the state of Supercross now? How close is it, or what do you feel like has happened with or where the sport is? Where do you think that I'm sorry, I got a little off.
Yes, you did.
But I think I know
where you're going.
Yeah, the health of the sport now, has it kind of gotten to where you thought it would be, or
thankfully we're not live. We could just edit it. Oh,
yeah,
no, wait, we are. Never mind.
Yeah, it started off so strong and I butchered it.
It did.
No, I would have never thought it would be where it is today. I mean, even during, and shortly after I was finished, you're going, where are these riders going to come from? Just looking back a little bit. And I just think that, I'll just say the production of riders that keep rolling out of the amateur ranks is just getting greater. Now, I think, the video being easier for people to access that, whether they live in Europe or let's say they live in Japan or wherever these riders are all coming from, which obviously we're seeing a lot from Europe. I think during my time, it was really hard to watch what all of these riders were doing, right? We didn't have the accessibility to YouTube or to, social media. And I think and a buddy of mine brought this up to me. I'm kind of stealing his story or his philosophy, but I just think that's made guys a lot better, because I know during my time, right, we watched videos that we had, but we couldn't access other guys' stuff. So, and you find technique by watching, and you try to mix it in with yours and see if it makes you better.
That's I never thought about that.
And obviously the training facilities and as many there was coaches during my time. There were a few, not near as many as they are now. There were a lot that thought they were, but now you've got a wide range of coaches that can give these guys, give the kids, or maybe they've already been in Supercross a few years, and all of these guys that have retired can give them a 2 cents and help them. So I just think it's making the whole sport better, of getting help. I don't know, everybody has their opinions when it comes to these camps and, taking your kid and dropping it off, and parents doing everything they do. I think kids still need to be kids, but all of these options now that we have for them to be better, you got to give a little credit to it, right? I don't think we'd be where we are and continue to have these kids rolling out of the amateur ranks and coming from Europe and, other countries that have just produced some really good riders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So talking about the older times of racing compared to now, one of our listeners on the live chat, Racing Team USA, had a question about permanent numbers and changing numbers. Should the guys in the top 100 have to change their number what are your thoughts on that, as far as, riders being able to, I guess you'd say, brand themselves?
I think sticking with a number makes it easier for fans. I really do. And people to relate. Obviously they change gear or whatnot, but I think having a number that you stick to with the brand, I personally think is good. Now, maybe if the guy wants to ride with a number 1 plate, I don't know. I almost thought about that, back in the day, which I didn't get a chance because I only rode the 125 class 1 year, and that would have been the only time I would have had the option to ride with the number 1. I don't know that I really wanted to. I would have just felt better to keep, at the time, would have been number 45 and keep that on my plate. And that's me for my career. You look, okay, well, this year you were 8 and that year you were 4 or whatever. I don't know. I think they should stick to the number, and it's a little bit easier to brand them and for people to keep up with them.
Yeah.
I kind of like that too.
Yeah.
I like the branding. I wish Chase had stayed 23.
I think that, especially if guys want to be a 3-digit number and stay a 3-digit and all that, 'cause I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
Their mechanic may not appreciate it because that's a lot to cram on a number plate, but
well, it's just graphics nowadays. You can remember they print them all as one nowadays. Yeah. Not like y'all back in the day with duct tape.
And they're a little harder to to read, but maybe that's what they do. Maybe, but then again, it's like, some of the riders that have made a 3-digit number pretty prominent.
Yeah.
And maybe they're happy with it. So I agree. If it's something you can stick with and the AMA can make it work for their deal, let the guys stick.
Hey, Damon, one of our listeners wanted to know that if you had heard of that Dark ditched his YZ250.
Oh, he probably didn't know I had one.
Well, I'm just giving the people what they want.
I'm trying to remember.
His ponytail bike.
Yeah, Mathis and Kiefer bought me a YZ250 to cut my hair. That's how I got. So I
remember the story. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then I really never rode it. I was always riding the 4-strokes because I don't have that much talent, as you've noticed.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. So I had a guy offer me money I couldn't pass up for the bike, so I sold it. Yeah, and people are giving me crap about it, but
I look at it as they all have their place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Each bike, whether it's a YZ250 or it's a 250X. Or if it's a 450, it's hard to have just one.
Well, that is true.
The electric bike.
Right. You gotta have multiple so you can go ride every different discipline. It's like I go back from a 250X to a WR450. I like horsepower. The bike I can ride it in the desert. Yeah, you can ride a 2-stroke in the desert, but the 4-stroke's a little easier to ride down there. Well, then when I go up north and I ride tight, nasty rocky stuff, well, a 250X is like riding a mountain bike compared to a 450. So it's like, where is that happy medium? And then it goes back, you just can't have one.
Exactly.
Are you even riding moto much at all anymore, or is it just mainly off road stuff?
No, I still do adventure, off road and still moto. And I do enough moto that it's fun. I mean, if that's all I got to do, that risk is just, it just keeps raising it up there. So I enjoy it. I do like the off road. So for me, getting to ride all three or all different four types of discipline, I can't complain. I enjoy it.
Yeah, we saw a 40-year-old qualify for a Supercross this weekend with Lenitovich.
I thought I caught that. Yeah.
He didn't get points because of the new system, but we're going to leave that alone. But how about this year you qualify for an outdoor national and then set the record?
It's definitely crossed my mind, but it's like one of those things. So, I get paid to ride my motorcycle.
Yeah.
And go and have fun. And it makes my world go round. So in order to just go to the grindstone and train your ever-loving ass off for whatever, I don't know, 6 months. I mean, obviously I ride and I stay in decent shape, but to go to that, realistically, how long does it take a guy to get into shape to where he can go and run that type of time? I would need a hell of a lot of motivation meaning, okay, you're going to have to completely stop what you're doing and just go, and it didn't make sense. I mean, it's like Loretta Lynn's. I don't know how many times, I talk to people, man, why don't you come back and, ride Loretta's? Well, I'm not satisfied with being there half-assed. So I know how much time, or I feel like I do, how much time it would take to get in shape to be able to go there and race with Brownie and Emming and the rest of the guys. It's a lot of work, man. Yeah. I was 32 events last year.
Oh, wow.
And each one of those range from 3 to 8 days, 9 days. So let's just call it a 5-day average. That's a lot of days on the road. So when am I going to fit in? So that's the thing I run up against. I guess if I only had that to do, to train and get ready to go do, whatever certain events, then maybe I could turn that into a game. But honestly, I don't have time, and I've thought about it, and it would be fun because it's like one of those goals. All right, let's get ready. Loretta's is 20 plus 2 laps, train your butt off and go there and try to have fun and race with those guys and make it interesting. But
I have to deal with a Brownie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, and it would be fun. I mean, we've raced against one another a lot over the years and, yeah, it'd be cool, but it's just I couldn't give it 100% effort because I got too much other stuff going on. So,
Damon, let's close this thing out with we got some Vital MX forum questions. We got 3 of them. Zaphod Beeblebrox, that's one of our listeners actually. Where did you ride growing up? I'm from your hometown, but much younger and have been curious. So, what were some of the tracks locally that you raced at?
So I would actually ride out behind Al Lane's shop. Back in the day, I would ride there some. I had a friend that had a track in Concord at Mike Andrews. I would spend some time there. There was some times where I would go down to the old track that was at Club MX, which was Sand Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
I would,
sometimes
track.
Yeah, sometimes I would make it up to Lake Sugar Tree. Occasionally, not much, but and obviously I had to spend a lot of time, in California. But I typically didn't go to organized water practices because they weren't available. And my theory was if I went and rode dusty, nasty, just, and not that all of those tracks were that way all the time, but it might be after a weekend race and it dried up and it was ruddy and nasty. When I got to the race on the weekends, I really look forward to riding that bitchin' track. So a lot of the practice tracks I spent a lot of time on, they were not prepped.
Okay.
So
Spit in a Bucket said to ask you about the air-cooled WR490. I saw him in the 90s at Millville, and you could hear it pinging as he threw it into the landing of the Camelback, wide fucking open. He looked pissed.
It was definitely, well, I've told the story several times. I'm glad the opportunity arose to ride that bike because it only happened one year.
Yep.
And I've got to talk about it a lot and tell the story. So yeah, it was a hell of an experience. I mean, we know everybody, it's not a secret that it wasn't the best bike at the time. I mean, The KX 500 was probably the best in that time. The Honda, I would say, was there. But the cool thing was what I was riding. And I liked that. That motivated me to know. And there was times where I had the best bike and there was times where I didn't, but I used that as motivation. You know, for me, I'm like, I know I'm a little bit of a deficit here, but let's see how good I can make it. So that was the way I would relieve some of the pressure, you know, off of me. And like that year, I'd never ridden a 500. So there really wasn't a ton of pressure to go in and just completely perform and probably even do as well as I did. So to me, that was like a relaxed last ever how many rounds we had to go racing. And the guys made the bike as good as they possibly could make underneath the, you know, the production rule thing. But it's funny you ask that question because I know Villapoto just sent me some photos of him doing some stuff on a bike similar to that. And, you know, he was talking about, I'm kind of thinking I want to try to get me one. Well, every time he rides an old bike, he wants one, you know?
Yeah.
And, but it's cool, you know, add to the collection. But no, I mean, the thing was very fast. Suspension and geometry, probably not the best, but the good thing about it is it would slow down in that moto as you would slow down. So it was just, it worked out really good.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, you're lucky that it did, but that's a cool experience. I don't know if I wrote this down. Sparkle Longer asked about you jumping the pond at Gary Bailey's. How far was it? And did you do it more than once?
So I thought, they must be talking about they're talking about the big jump. I think that was on Pros Practice and Play, I think, because I have jumped a couple of ponds, but that big jump that I think they're talking about, I did it twice because the first time I did it, there was no cameras. I just did it. And then they're like, oh, we didn't get that on camera. You got to do it again. I'm like, I do not want to do that again. And the first time I did it, it was super cold out and the fenders, I don't know if both of them, but one of them, I think, completely snapped off the bike because it was super cold. So the plastic cold. So I landed so hard, it freaking broke the fenders off. The second time that was on video was a nasty, but it wasn't super cold that day. So yeah, I did that one twice. And, you know, then it was big. Now it's just a mere triple jump.
Right. It's just the times have changed. Yeah. What's next for you with Yamaha? Will you be at the off-road intro in South Carolina? What do you got going?
Oh yeah, I don't even know how many. Lots of Yamaha events this year. Lots of adventure events. I'm actually doing the Nitro Cross in Vegas in a Yamaha YXZ, which is really cool because I like the four-wheel racing. I have probably 6 or 8 trophy truck races with everything that's in Baja, a couple of that's in the U.S. So yeah, just running from one end of the country to the other. Like I'll go to Phoenix Supercross. I think I'll be at Nashville. I'll be at Denver, and then everything in between there with probably, I don't know, I think probably 4 or 5 adventure events. So
nice.
Lots of different stuff. And then kind of towards the tail end of the year, it's probably more of my moto events that I do.
Yeah, your wife, Angela, told me, like, I need to get involved with one of those adventure rides with you one of these days, and I would love to do that. I got to figure out how to make that happen.
It's a hoot, man. I really enjoy it. I make the comment all the time that if I was in a position that I could only have one motorcycle, it'd be really hard not to have the T7 just because you can do a little bit of everything pretty damn good on it.
Yeah.
You know, and I like going out and covering some ground and, you know, especially out where I live. And so I don't know, but like I said, man, you just can't have one motorcycle. And I like that whole adventure thing is kind of doing a thing I feel like Harley did, right? You had to be old and fat to ride one. Now that's all changed.
Yeah.
You know, now the younger generation is thinking these adventure bikes are pretty cool because you can go do some really cool stuff on them. You want to go camping, go camping on it. If you want to go ride some single track, well, you can do that too. So, but yeah, I enjoy riding it all, and thankfully I get to do a little bit of all of it.
Love it. Damon, thanks for having some time for us, as you always do. Great seeing you this weekend, and I'll see you in Glendale.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, take care. See you.
Hey, bye.
Damon Bradshaw, brought to you by Guts Racing. Damon's always a great guest. Before your time a little bit, Scotty, do you know did you like
He was like I was a wee little lad when he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably what was his last year? 90. Well, he came back and did.
Yeah, he came back early 2000s for a little bit, but
I was 4 through 2 or 3 or 4, so probably didn't really know.
Just a bad dude though.
But when I go back, so I'm big on going back and watching a lot of old races and watching his storyline. It was interesting. I liked seeing.
We love Damon. We love Damon Bradshaw. He's great. Our next guest of the night is on the phone. Tonight he's going to be brought to you by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers. With industry-leading fit, finish, and performance, progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible, used by the Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha team, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, Benny Bloss, our next guest, and many more. FXR has core motor roots, so visit fxrracing.com or go to your local dealership and see the complete 24 line, including the Helium and Revo. Tonight, FXR brings us the king of the hammers, king of the motos, one of the greatest off-road riders to ever live, and he's still a youngin'. Cody Webb. What's up, Cody?
Hey, how you guys doing? Pretty
Doing
pumped
good.
to be on here tonight.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Really appreciate having you on. I have dipped my toe in the off-road world a little bit with GNCC in the last couple of years and starting to learn about it. I really suck at it, which you saw Kiefer's videos. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying getting to know the off-road guys. And, it's just really, really appreciate you coming on because you are insanely talented. When I watch your videos, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, off-road is obviously a completely different community compared to moto and supercross. And then even within off-road, you have so many different realms. Like you got GNCC on the East Coast, you got Hare and Hounds on the West Coast, GPs, Works Racing, and then you got like the stuff I do, like the world of hard enduro, and enduro cross is kind of its own little weird spectacle. But there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, I was going through some of your history, and correct me if I'm wrong with these. 3 AMA Super Enduro titles, FIM Super Enduro title, 6-time X Games medalist, 6-time Tennessee knockout. That's a gnarly one from everything I've heard. And the first and only American to podium Erzberg.
Yep, and then now 6 King of Motos.
Yeah,
victories.
I was out there at Kiefer's this last month while that was going on. Actually, this chick I've been seeing, Amber, she went out there and was telling me how insane it was. I haven't been able to go and watch one of these, but she told me I need to come next year. So I watched some of the videos, and I don't understand how you guys do that. But King of the Hammers, King of the Motos is the 2-wheel side of it. Just unreal, the stuff you have to ride through.
Yeah, I mean, that place is crazy. I mean, they got King of Hammers. I think they started in like 07 or something like that, and it was just a couple rednecks building out these Jeep.
Yeah.
And like they like made their own little competition, and now I think they have like 60,000 plus spectators on site during that week, and everything's fully live streamed, and it's like a full on mini city. It's basically Burning Man for gearheads, and it's really cool. But it's really, for the King of Moto side of things, we're kind of the sideshow freaks that everyone respects, but they don't know how we do it. So we kick off the whole King of Hammers week, or I guess it's more than a week now. But yeah, we're the first ones to go out. So they basically do a trial run on all their TV stuff and whatnot for us. So it's it's cool to be a part of it. And it kind of started with, Jimmy Lewis was, he was kind of one of the dudes back in the day in the States for like rally and Dakar and stuff like that. I think he podiumed Dakar before. So I know like Ricky Braybeck and a lot of those guys have done training with him, but he did the first King of Motos, and no one knew what the hell they were doing back then. But now, just in such a short time span, like hard enduro's kind of become so specialized. It's like you have no chance unless you actually are prepping for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I could see that by just what I was watching. And you just mentioned 6 times you've won it, right? But there was another rider that's had a streak from what I saw, and you broke that streak. How long was – I don't remember the guy's name. I apologize. But what was his streak?
Well, no, I think I had 5. I wasn't like 5 straight. Oh, no, Tristan Hart.
Yes.
He's so he's won King of Motos twice now.
Okay.
But it wasn't that. It was just the fact that he's beat me like something stupid like 16 straight times.
Oh, in hard enduro events in general.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So like So it was just for the streak for our like AMA US Hard Enduro Series.
Okay.
Yeah, he's won like the last 16 straight. So the target's big on his back right now.
I
so
got
it's
you.
good
Like,
to take it back from him.
when I watch your Instagram videos and stuff, I don't understand how anybody could beat you. Like the things you do on a bike with your trials background, just there's so much skill that just in general hard enduro riders have. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I mean, injuries have kind of plagued everyone here and there, unfortunately. So I've had a couple of those. I had like the same dislocation that Nicoletti had, whatever, like a year and a half ago, a year ago, whatever that was. That was pretty terrible. And I feel his pain because I'm sure he's still dealing with it. But it's slowly getting there. And then plus I'm 35 now, so like I wouldn't even be racing supercross or motocross anymore at that age. But off-road riders don't get paid enough, so I'm still out here making it happen.
Yeah, go ahead, TJ.
Well, no, we have. I have a question, but I have a question from a listener first. Sportin' Wood wants to know: do you have to have a custom seat to fit your giant balls on the bike?
It's got a pocket.
Yeah. No,
I do not have a pocket cut out, but I do run a little bit taller seat.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So my question is, me and some buddies, we like to go trail riding and play riding. That's fun. But what y'all do on the dirt bike, like we saw the meltdown of Jamie riding with Kiefer. We saw that kind of.
Nobody saw that.
It doesn't look fun what y'all do. Like trail riding's fun. That is not. How do you keep doing that?
I don't. It's like it's all relative, right? Like I grew up riding trials bikes. So my whole thing for the first, I didn't even have a dirt bike till I was 19 years old. I just rode trials my whole life. So, like, relatively speaking, when I get on a trail, it's just like a transfer section for me. Like, I'm not using any energy. I'm just like, it doesn't excite me, you know? So it takes a little bit extra to get me going. But it is pretty funny. Like, if I go trail riding with just regular buddies that don't ride hard enduro stuff, they're like, oh, was that like your typical training day for your hard enduro stuff? And I was like, that's just how I get from A to B. Like that wasn't even
that wasn't training.
He's the guy that likes the girl in the leather to beat him. You know what I mean?
He likes the abuse.
He doesn't even need a safe word.
Yeah. Chubby checkers.
Chubby checkers.
Yeah, chubby checkers. I don't need to use that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't either. I should have if I'd remembered. Did you have one, Scotty?
Oh yeah, I can go.
Okay.
I've never really watched a whole lot of just actual trial stuff it's in itself, but I have seen some clips, and it's really kind of its own world. Like I know it's a two-wheeled sport, and it's technically it's, I guess you would group it with enduro, motocross, and stuff, but man, like just kind of tell us, a lot of us that are moto-based guys, how that world of trials is with with the spotter and the different obstacles that you have to do. Like what did you like about it, and what do you translate to what you do in the hard enduro world?
Yeah, I mean with trials, it's so crazy. Like everyone respects it, but until they try it, they don't actually understand how hard it is. And like I won a national championship in 2010 here in the States, and then I've done some world stuff when I was younger growing up, but like I watched the videos of like Tony Bow, who's been the top guy now for quite some time, and even then I was pretty good at trials, and I can't even fathom how he does those things. So the amount of technical control and finesse and timing is like there's no way you can ever match it on any sort of like any type of riding you're doing. Like even with the hard enduro stuff, I can't match it even if I try. So the good thing is though, when I started racing enduro bikes and off road, all those skills except aggression cross directly over. So the thing I do like about trials, it's a little bit like golf, where you're your own worst enemy. Like it's not like a motocross race where if you get a bad start, you got other guys you got to deal with. Like it's basically you versus the terrain. So I feel like mentally it's a very difficult sport because you have to regroup quickly, and you're not thinking about anyone else out there. It's just you versus racing the dirt bike side of things. But it just, for me, when I explain to people about trials, it puts your mind like in a direct correlation and connection to the rear tire. Like, you know exactly where your rear tire is all the time. You know exactly what your rear tire is doing. And the timing you have with the clutch and throttle there's no way you can match it on any form of dirt bike riding besides that.
Yeah, you know, talking about the trials and stuff, it made me unlock a core memory from like when I was a kid in the 90s. And they did like this. It was this guy, he did like an exhibition thing where it was in my local town, and he probably traveled and did a bunch of them where he had a trials bike and he had like a little trailer that he brought up, and he would hop onto the back,
unfolding ramp and stuff.
Yeah, hop on the back, and like he'd line like 4 kids out and bunny hop over them and stuff like that. Is it like I guess there's a different time then, but
no, they still do that.
Yeah, have you ever done anything like that?
Yeah, I've done some shows here and there, like similar to what you're saying, like a little fairgrounds type thing.
Yeah.
And then they've linked some of the trial stuff with like the freestyle motocross stuff back in the day. So when they had like the FMX series, I did like some halftime show stuff in some of them. And I was like a 19-year-old kid, you know, driving to like Tacoma, Washington. And here I am like hanging out with all the freestyle dudes. And obviously the freestyle mentality it's changed a lot from the old school freestyle mentality. So I'm like a 19-year-old kid, and these guys are all like partying, and I'm just this little sober, nerdy trials kid hopping around in tights.
So those guys that do those exhibitions, we'll call it that, and those shows, like they do insane things. Are those like some of the top guys in trials, or are those just random trials dudes
the washed up guys
that blow our mind doing those kind of things?
Normally, they're pretty good guys doing it. Like Jeff Aaron was a 10-time national trials champion. He's raced Erzberg, he's raced endurocross, and he did shows. I mean, that was basically where he made all his money. Obviously, he made money riding trials, but he was one of the first Red Bull athletes in the States. And he had like a gig to just go around and do all these random shows. So he was probably getting paid way more than any other trials rider ever got for these kind of shows.
I want to step back to King of Motos for just a minute. I was watching like a couple of videos, and there's like a media guy following you. Or following all right. I don't know how that works. I didn't even understand how he was keeping up with everybody. Explain to me how that works, because just watching his videos, I just couldn't really figure out how to keep up.
Yeah, well, that's because it's our version of Aaron. Plessinger. His name's Cowboy Max Gersten.
Okay.
And he still races professionally in endurocross, but he worked out a gig to where he can be the media guy. So he honestly has the best gig because he doesn't have to race, and he just gets to hop in for short bits and talk about us battling. So it's a pretty good gig for him. But yeah, no, he's a really good rider. And the funny, like, we'll post a bit, or like our series will post something, and it's, most people are not impressed with the people riding, and they're impressed with the guy that's keeping up with us and talking and narrating what's going on.
Well, yeah, he had access to everybody's GoPro, so I kind of figured it was something that I guess he just kind of jumps from section to section.
Yeah, so with King of Motos, it's different than every other race we got. It's all GPS with very minimal marking. So they'll have markers kind of like hidden, but like you have to do some navigating, but it's just like a reassurance thing. So there's not much marking at all compared to all of our other races. So the media guys is a crew of like 3 of them that kind of help out. They're part of the series, and then they do like media stuff for it. So they go out and pre-plan everything ahead of time and kind of guess how long it'll take us to get through sections. So they'll follow a section and then skip ahead, 20 minutes to meet us in another one.
Okay. Along with the navigation at King of Motos, there clearly, and this may be the case probably in all hard enduro, but there's some pit strategies, and you at one point chose to not fuel and kind of, I guess, risked it a little bit, which helped give you the win, gave you a pretty big lead, I think over a minute. Was that a very confident strategy that you knew you were going to make it, or was it kind of like, we're going to see how this goes?
Yeah, I knew I was going to make it because we did it the day before. Like, roughly, I always tell myself, like, I can normally get 32 miles, but it also depends on how gnarly terrain is, because obviously you're idling more. But I'm pretty efficient for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And the day before we qualified, and we did 2 laps, and it was 27 miles, and it was a faster pace race, so harder on the gas, but not as much time spent on course. and I still had quite a bit left in the tank. So I felt pretty confident about it. And then I also because I'm running the Sherco motorcycles. It's a 300 two-stroke, and they come stock with key-in carbs. They don't have like the throttle body stuff.
Oh, yeah,
but I run it's an aftermarket carb called Smart Carb, and it's basically like a jetless
we know
carb
what that
system. So they're definitely more efficient, and then you're not like, people are crashing and they're losing their fuel like, a traditional carb when you fall, everything's coming out the float. Where this is, I don't know how it does it, but the smart guys there figured it out, and they don't lose fuel.
Nice.
So you said that there's the minimal markings. Does that mean y'all kind of picking your own way?
Yeah, those first, honestly, that's what I needed to get ahead of those guys for the last lap. Like, not pitting was basically my strategy, so they wouldn't pace off me. So I basically just did the most ridiculous sprint to get away from them for the last lap. So the first 2 laps was a high pace to make sure no one else was catching us, but none of us were really trying to battle each other because we knew there was navigation involved, and we were, you're working together, but still competition essentially.
Okay.
Y'all should just pick.
And I
easier,
think the same exact
lines.
thing. I know.
Just go around all that. All those hills. Just go around them. Just wide open. Just go around them.
There is a rule of 25 feet, roughly.
Yeah. Dude, watching that video, all the rocks, clearly from my videos, I'm not any good at, but the crevice that you put yourself in, I don't know if there's more than one, but I had heard about it and I saw in the video, like, they didn't look like there was room for a bike to fit, and you guys just drop off in this thing. Again, I guess that just comes with experience, but from somebody that hasn't done it, once again, mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah, I think I know what thing you're talking about. I think it was called the Crack, and you can't even, unless you're directly on the GPS, it's so narrow you won't even see it.
Yeah, that's it. Got to be.
Yeah, it's pretty narrow. It's cool. Like, I like going through that kind of stuff. I don't know, something's wrong with me.
Well, if you guys are listening to this and haven't checked this stuff out, just go to the King of Hammers website. There's videos. It's unreal. So this is.
I got one about that real quick. Hey, what was the first time that you did Erzberg and had to hit Carl's Diner? What was your thoughts of it, and how did you do? And like how on TV it doesn't really do it justice, but how insane is that section in reality?
Yeah, Carl's Diner is terrible. I mean, the first time I went there and walked it, like, I was a trials guy and I was all excited and I walked it and I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Like, I got this. Like, you're getting all confident. You're going to choose these lines out, and then you get there, but you forget that you're completely exhausted by the time you even get to that point. So everything you had in your mind, it didn't pan out. So it's just, you just got to keep trucking. It's pretty bad. But this year, I went to Erzberg and I got 10th. I was content with it, but definitely not that happy. But 10th is pretty good when I think 17 people finish out of 1,500 or something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say 10th is unreal. Yeah, almost nobody finishes.
Yeah.
So I'll accept it, but I was pretty proud because like Graham Jarvis is pretty much like the GOAT or the hero or whatever of hard enduro stuff. He's like 48 and still ridiculously good. And he was a really good trials guy, so it makes sense. But I held him behind me the whole first section of Carl's Diner this year, and then halfway through the next one, I let him by and I followed him through the rest. And that was like my most proud moment, was staying with Graham Jarvis through the Rock Garden in Carl's Diner.
He still does that?
Yeah.
He's still, like, how old is Graham?
Yeah,
oh, God dang it. I can't ask the age questions. Cody, I'm not supposed to ask how old people are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Just a couple more questions for you, Cody. I noticed on your Instagram that you guys just announced CW2 training. This is, I guess, a new endeavor for you. Talk a little bit about CW2 training and whether you feel like you could help me get any better.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely some stuff right off the bat we can work on. But
Okay.
Like how to ride a dirt bike?
Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, I'm really excited about the training platform I'm launching. It's basically taking everything from my years of knowledge from, racing, trials, just everything put together. And it's just for generic off-road riding. but kind of specializes more in the hard enduro realm just because that's my bread and butter and what I've been able to make a living off of, and honestly what I enjoy doing most. So my whole goal with the platform is to make everything that I focus on, what I think is important, putting it all, categorizing it all, putting it out there for just the general user. And the end goal is for just them to get more confidence on the bike, know what they're capable of, maybe see terrain in a whole new way, and obviously just be more efficient on the motorcycle. So, you know, I have everything from, you know, just downhill techniques, uphill techniques, tricks with the hard enduro things, generic bike setup. So it's not like I feel like with the moto type world with training, it's like, oh, here's like they give you a protocol for the week. Here's your workouts to do today. And today you're going to ride the bike. Today you're going to do your motos. We're going to do sprints instead of longer motos. Like, it's not like that. It's basically just very technique and skill set based. And I've organized it all in order to basically build a base foundation and build from there as the techniques get more and more difficult. But it's a do at your own pace. Here it is for you guys. And with that, people have the opportunity to upload videos and submit videos of themselves trying something. And I'm going to give like direct feedback on what they could do better, and then like monthly Zoom calls and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be as available as most I can. And like, I do enjoy doing riding schools, but I'm a dad with 2 kids and a family, and I'm still trying to be a racer. And like, I can't go everywhere and try and do these schools for people. So I feel like this was the best, most cost efficient way where people can basically have all my knowledge, what I basically teach to you in a school, have it at your leisure whenever you want, and take advantage of it.
All right. Cody Webb tonight, brought to you by FXR. It's cw2training.com. I think at least as of now, I have the goggle toss into the fans done. Nobody's beating me at the goggle toss. You had a great arc on that goggle toss. Thank you. The worst part was the walk of shame, having to go find them.
That's not when you want to throw it at the most.
About that.
Yeah, Chris was like, just leave them. I was like, no, man, those are my WUSA X brands. I only have one pair. So Aiden and I were trenching down the hill looking for them. But yeah, we got them. Scotty, we got 2 more for you. Scotty, go ahead.
Yeah, talking about your training and stuff, when you see people come from other moto disciplines, GNCC or moto, and they do something like a rock garden or a tire, or go over a concrete wall, or whatever it is you guys are doing, like what is one of the most like just common amateur mistakes that you see people do?
I think they just don't see the lines the same as someone coming from a trials, hard enduro background, where I feel like Ryan Sipes always is like, when in doubt, throttle out. Like, the faster you go, it'll buff out.
Yeah.
And whenever I ride with like a moto-y type guy, and like, I'm not taking anything crazy ridiculous, but like their thought process is if I hit it faster and harder, I'll get through it quicker. And that's, and
absolutely.
That's honestly, that's not really your best method. So I feel like that's the biggest thing, is they see the line a little bit differently, and they take the aggression from the moto mentality, and they just think hammering through it is the way to go. But honestly, like, picking apart, trying to be smart and efficient and timing your throttle and this and that is better in the long run.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
I lied. I got 2 more because I forgot. Kiefer had we were sitting there on Chris's couch watching San Francisco, the mud bath that it was. And he swore, he said, if Cody Webb was there, he'd win this thing hands down. No problem. I want to know where you think he would finish at San Francisco Supercross, as muddy and sloppy as it was.
Yeah, this gets brought up every year,
I know.
And I don't think I'd win. I'll be honest. It would be my best chance ever. I could see myself in the main event for sure, but I mean, those guys are still really good. Like, and I know they're not training in mud motos, but neither am I really, because it's not that much fun. But I do enjoy riding in the rain and mud, and I'd say I'd hold my own, but I don't think I'm going to win. I'm not claiming it.
All right, let's close with this. King of the Motos was round 1 of the AMA Hard Enduro Series. So points leader. What are your thoughts? What are your expectations for the rest of the season? Where do you feel your chances lie? Can you win the thing?
I mean, I'm feeling really good right now. Like the wrist is getting better, and I sat down and did my New Year's resolution goals, as corny as it sounds. And I was like, I'm winning all the races. My wife was like, let's be realistic. You haven't beat him in like whatever it was, 16 races, and it kind of hurt me a little bit. So
you can count on your wife to be truthful. That's great.
Yeah. So I'm going on I'm splitting the wins and hopefully patient enough and I get the upper hand and win the championship. That's
All
the
right.
goal.
Well, we're going to be following along, man. Thank you so much for coming on here. And laughing at me on the Instagram post that Chris made. That's just made my day that Cody Webb made.
Yeah.
For me.
I think I might've shared, I don't know if I shared it or not, but like, it was too good. Like the whole chubby checker thing. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then it just kept getting better and better.
Yeah, like on the way back, I was like, you're not sharing that video. And he's like, please, come on, man. And then he showed it to me, and I was cracking up. And I was like, yeah, you got to. Go ahead.
Very good. Yeah. It's like, let the man sit.
Yeah.
Let the man sit.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be logging on to cw2training.com.
I just sent my email and subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, yeah.
I'm interested.
So okay. To add to it, I'm not done yet. I've been filming a bunch of it in between getting ready for the next race and after the first race. So I got the editor going through it all right now, and we're looking at sometime right after the beginning of March, I think, for the initial soft launch. So I got early bird special with all the emails going in. You're on the early bird list now. It's going to happen.
Love it. I'm gonna fill it. Sign up tonight. Also, I definitely need some technique training. But again, good luck on the Hard Enduro series. We'd love to get you on, maybe midway through and see how things are going and talk to you again.
Yeah, hopefully it's as going as I hope. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Cody. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
That's it. Cody Webb, brought to you by FXR. That was fun.
Dude,
I love the off-road guys.
I had so much fun, like riding in the hills and and then I love riding. I know it's not the same thing as what they do, but riding the trails and the pit bikes and just being off-road. There's so many skills. Maybe I could pick up something. I don't know. So
I bet we could. I mean, I want to go ride with him.
Yeah, I just want to see what his course is and what it offers. And
right.
I do feel like the trials guys.
Scotty's out. He didn't even do our local hard enduro.
Typically, they're really tall.
That wasn't even a hard enduro.
It's kind of an easy enduro.
I finished it, but I mean,
yeah, I think longer legs would absolutely help. But I don't know enough of them to say that for sure. They all have long legs, but
I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe.
I've always thought that those guys I'm out on that stuff.
So I thought of something. I actually have my notes here, and I totally forgot when we were doing the history of the MotoXpod show. Something that I did comment that we kind of messed up on was if you go back and look at the descriptions of the shows or the titles, like you were all over the place. Sometimes you put who was on the show, sometimes you didn't. Sometimes you put descriptions of what the show talked about. Sometimes you put nothing. You clearly misspelled things sometimes. Like
never.
That would be one thing I would have liked to have done better.
Yeah.
So
I just realized the other
not
day.
Even him do better. It was you.
It was him, but like as a whole.
Yeah. Anyways, like our old shows are still up. And
some of them are. Then like the first, I think it starts at like episode 5.
Yeah, but I'm saying our old shows were still up, and I'm still paying for the
server cost.
The server cost.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's $15 a month.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are 2 hours and 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long show for us. We're going to finish out with our segments. Just so you guys listening, the guys have been here a while, we're going to adjust our format, obviously, also in the future. Maybe you guys like that. So normally we would go 30-minute intro, guest, segments. We're going to start putting a little bit of time in between the guests, do some segments in between so the sponsor reads aren't all so crammed together, and maybe break it up a little bit. So
it's been pointed out in the live chat that you actually haven't ruined or screwed up a read yet.
Nice.
No pressure.
Okay. Well, we only have 5 more to go because we do have another new sponsor to announce.
I'm gonna.
Oh, you know what? We have 6 more to go because I didn't even write the new one down because we don't have a segment for it. I just found out we're doing it tonight. So
stay tuned. It's coming.
Yeah. Very good chance that this is going to go bad, especially now that he brought it up. Good job, TJ.
That was my plan.
I'm proud of you because it's much more entertaining when I screw it up.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Absolutely.
Maybe I screw up on purpose.
Whatever.
No, you don't.
No, you won't.
That's not a fact.
Fuck you too. X brand is your choice for clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, the 2023 National Hare and Hound XC1 champion Dalton Shurry, 2023 AMA National Enduro champion Grant Baylor, Lyndon Snodgrass, as well as motocross, supercross, and arena cross riders like Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin, and more. Visit EKSbrand.com or go to your local dealership. Ask for X brand, distributed through WPS. And don't forget, what?
Oh, nothing.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. Hunter Lawrence, Alpine Star Goggles, X brand.
I need some lenses.
Do you?
Yeah.
I could probably sell you some.
Awesome.
Or buy a t-shirt and maybe you get a lens free. I don't know. All right, tonight, X brand forum check-in. The forum topic that I pulled was the titled 250 East Stacked Lineup, posted by @MX Culture. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts. We're not going to go too deep into this, but...
Deegs.
Huh?
Deegan.
Okay.
All that matters.
Jeremy Martin, Tom Vial, Jalek Swoll, Max Ansey, Hayden Deegan, Pierce Brown, Seth Hamaker, Cameron McAdoo, Austin Faulkner, Chance Hymas, Enzo Lopes, Daxton Bennett, Styles Robertson, possibly Michael Mosman, we don't know, and Jet Reynolds. Some of the highlights. It is, I think, a stacked field. I would like to know, let's just go into Detroit. Who are you most excited to see? And
why is it Deegan?
And at the end of the year, who do you feel is the champion? We don't know what we're going to see out of him.
Did you mention Faulkner?
I did.
Okay.
I mean, that's on there. I may have skipped it, but I don't think so.
That's where I'm at. I've always been
okay. So that's who you're most excited about, or that's who wins the championship, or both?
Both. I've always been a Faulkner fan. I don't know why. I mean, ups and downs and all this stuff that's happened. I just been a Faulkner fan, and I really hope he does good. But yeah. What about you, Scotty?
Yep.
Yeah, I Faulkner is one of the ones that I want to see do well, and I definitely think it's going to be. I think if you're just looking at track records and who's going to really be the fastest and fight for the championship, I think it's between him and Deegan. But I know you're saying that the field's kind of stacked, but I feel like we've had more stacked 250 classes in the past.
Okay.
I think that it's going to allow. I'm kind of curious to see how well J Mart does. Is he going to be, is he going to fall into that third place every time guy? I mean, there's a lot of Max Anstie hype that he's been flying at the test track, all that kind of stuff. I think he'll do well, but I think ultimately, as for the championship, I think it comes down to Deegan and Faulkner. That's what I'm excited to see.
Excited-wise, I'm a little bit excited to see Jalek Swoll just because I want to see
him pick up his bike off the track?
Ooh, no, because I like Jalek.
Dang.
I do like Jalek, and
I
would like for the Triumph to be successful. I would like to see it be competitive. I do believe they'll have problems. Excuse me, but I'm excited to see what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
So
Ferry could be some fun to watch just because of the amount of, I guess you'd say, press he's going to get just because of his dad and the friends and the people around him. I think it'll be fun to. I'm not saying
the bike that he's on.
I'm not going to say he's going to win.
He's debuting a new motorcycle too.
Yeah.
So
him and Jalek. Yeah. So.
Oh, I guess Jalek is on that bike as well. Yeah.
That's why
I just said.
Yeah, sorry, I'm stupid.
Thank you for listening.
Jalek's probably been testing levers, whether they hold up.
Wow.
Hey, bro,
I'm excited about Jalek.
What's with the Jalek?
We like Jalek a lot.
Yeah,
he's so fast.
I'm also excited about Cameron McAdoo. I think he was, him and RJ were going at it last year for second place.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw him in that battle with Faulkner and Deegan.
Faulkner's my championship pick.
Yeah.
That's also. So those are my guys.
Are you buying the Anstie hype?
I don't think I'm going to ever buy he's flying at the test track hype anymore just because you hear it all the time and you never really know. I do think he'll be better than last year.
But he was what, like 5'6" last year?
I mean, he won a race at New Jersey.
I know, but I mean, on average.
Yeah.
I guess he got third in the points or fourth in the points.
I don't think he was in.
I honestly, I forget. I'd have to look it up.
That's what I'm saying.
But
will he be, and this is a terrible thing to say it this way, but will it be we can't remember how he did last year at the end of this year? You get what I'm saying?
Well, I'm pretty sure he got third, but I think Deegan snuck in there right at the
what I'm getting
race.
at, though, is will he win or will he be I can't remember where he finished at the end of the year? What do you think?
I think we'll remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll remember. Yeah, so that's the X Brand Forum check-in. This is why we're going to kind of move these segments around because we're going one after the other. The next segment is the Troll Training Top 5. We already used Troll Training as a guest read, so we're going to switch it up tonight. And with our other new sponsor, Barnett Clutches. We're going to do the Barnett Clutches Top 5 tonight.
Okay.
With 75 years of experience behind them, Barnett Dirt Digger Clutch Kits feature friction materials exclusive to Barnett for maximum performance and durability. Get 10% off with promo code VITALMX. It's all capitalized. VITALMX at barnettclutches.com and feel the Barnett difference. Very, very thankful to have Barnett on board. I'm going to be doing a lot of riding this year, and I will be getting some Barnett clutches. I thought you were about to say something for the bike. So thank you to Barnett for joining. All right, Barnett Clutches Top 5. This week's Top 5 is Top 5 action movies. Next week, you hear that?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yep.
Just got kicked in the balls. Next week will be people you would like to meet throughout history, alive or dead. Top 5 people you would have liked to have met or would like to meet. Like that?
Wow.
So,
Kind of hard.
again, email motoxpodshow@gmail.com. Yes, TJ, why don't you give us your top 5?
I have one in here.
Hang on. Max was, Lewis is mad at us. Max was third in points last year, lost second points on the last lap of the last round.
Second point. Okay, so he did get third.
All
That's
capital
right.
letters, disrespect. And he's right.
Look at me for.
We should have remembered that.
I knew,
but y'all didn't. That's the point.
Well, and that's disrespectful.
It's not disrespect.
I knew
Yes, it
that
is.
he was. I knew that he
You're right,
lost
Lewis.
a close.
You're right.
I knew that he was in a position and lost one at the last second to Deegan. I just thought it was third and fourth, but no, it was second and third. So yeah, he got third in the points last year. I mean, I think he can do it again.
I think Max is going to come out on fire. I do expect him to be a podium guy every week. I think he's going to be a little bit better than last year, like just a little bit more experience. And the World Supercross races, he was crushing it. So I expect big things out of him.
Well, and you know,
anyway.
and Hayden's not supposed to be coming out firing. He's supposed to be
He'll
kind
be
of
fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
I mean, he's gonna. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna ride like that.
I think
so.
he's everything I hear, he's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Duff said he's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair
so
enough.
that could be just Duff pumping him up, but yeah, I think he's in. But okay, top 5 action movies. We did have a little discussion before the show, like what defines an action movie? Because I was like, well, is Star Wars an action movie?
Yes.
Because I think it's more sci-fi,
but
there is action. So
does a movie like would Goodfellas be an action movie?
that's tough, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's action
I've
in it.
never seen it.
I'm gonna say no, but somebody might disagree.
yeah,
I guess let's just go with whatever you feel was an action movie as your top 5.
After
TJ.
our conversation,
Yep.
one of mine, I don't know if it really qualifies, but I'm going to leave it on there. So, like, I got to go to the top 5, I guess, my favorites would be, like, I'm going to get in the Wayback Machine here. The Crow. I just love that
That's
movie.
a good one. It's on my list.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Hey.
Brandon,
Yeah, Lee.
Lee. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, never seen it.
Great soundtrack. You
That-
haven't seen it? Oh my god,
He's
such a cult classic.
Yeah, it's a cult
so
classic.
good. Can't rain all the time.
the RoboCop.
That's a good one.
I loved RoboCop.
The original.
Growing up. Yeah, the original. And I didn't mind the newest one. It was okay.
Yep.
But whatever. RoboCop. One that my questionable one was Watchmen. I really love that movie.
The superhero
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah,
The
Watchmen.
I'll give you that.
It's
I
kind
think
of
I
action.
think a Marvel-ish. Those are action. So
Yep.
yeah.
Matrix is my
Yeah,
number
yeah,
2,
yeah.
and my number 1 all
like-
time is the Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman.
The original.
Yes.
Yes, that is so underrated. With
God, I love
Jack
that.
Nicholson as
Yes,
the Joker.
it's my favorite.
Where did you get all these wonderful toys?
This town needs an enema.
I watched. I actually watched The Matrix for the first time like last week, and
Wow.
I'd never seen it before. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Couple listeners chimed in. Shane Bagley. His are no order, but Training Day, Commando,
Oh, that's good.
Roadhouse, Bloodsport, Gladiator, named my German Shepherd Maximus. And then Cart 63, Commando, Predator, The Avengers, Equalizer. Those are good movies. And Transformers.
Oh yeah, Transformers is
Yeah,
a good
that's
one.
good.
I didn't think about that.
All right, Scotty, knock it out.
I have The Town.
Yeah.
What is that?
Is that
It's a Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah, and what's
that's the one where he says
the Boston bank robbers.
and there? Who else is in that?
I don't remember the other
Okay,
guy's
that's fine.
names.
that's the one that I've never seen the movie, but he comes in, he goes, "Hey, we got to go hurt some people."
Yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
Whose car are we
Whose
taking?
cars- yeah.
Okay, I need to watch that movie.
All right.
Yeah, no,
Go ahead.
that's one of mine. First, I like when I think of action movies, I think like bank robbing, heist movies, stuff
Okay.
like that. So that one, Die Hard, which
It's a Christmas movie. But
I say, which is a
Christmas
Christmas movie. The Dark Knight.
That's a
that's a
good Batman
really
too.
good one.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
Saving Private Ryan.
Never seen it.
You never seen Saving Private Ryan?
Nah,
Oh, it's awesome. And The Departed
never
Okay.
seen
is
it.
my number one.
All right,
You ever seen The
my
Departed either?
Nah.
my tonight
Oh, it's so good.
Barnett clutches top 5.
Barnett
I would say Star Wars, but I'm gonna go. That's more sci-fi, so I'm just gonna push that to the side because that's always my number one.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna put that in every
So,
list. There's gonna be in every list
Fifth
that
to
you
first.
do almost.
I'm gonna start with my number one. You want me to go last?
Yeah, you got to build up to it.
Okay, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Okay.
That's action, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
it is
Yeah, I guess
action.
So
yeah.
I guess so.
the original Terminator, although I love Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Rambo: First Blood, the very first one.
But that's like a cry movie, but okay.
Karate, man. No,
Like
he's like
crying?
jumping. Oh, crying?
Yeah. Anyway, it's a joke.
Okay.
Sylvester Stallone cries in all of his movies.
Oh, yeah. The Crow,
Yeah, it's such a.
and then Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
those are mine.
That's
Those are mine.
definitely action. Kill
Yeah.
Bill is definitely action.
So good.
Yeah. You
So
seen
good.
that?
No, I
And
haven't.
was it
Oh,
you that
sick.
asked if Pulp Fiction was? Somebody asked me.
Yeah, like is that an action movie?
I don't feel like there's enough action in it to
Yeah,
make it an
that's
action
what I'm
movie.
saying. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
draw. When I'm trying to think of like just like
I feel like it's got to be
shoot
a
'em up,
lot
blow
of
'em up.
explosions.
Yeah,
for the most
Bill,
part.
Kill Bill is like the Pulp Fiction because it's made by Tarantino also, but with like lots of blood and
Dude, just
Yeah.
splattering blood and slow motion blood and
Yeah.
squirting blood out of
I
necks.
feel like
and-
that. You has to have something like that to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting into the Evans coolant emails. Evans waterless coolant protects your engine because it always stays liquid. Steam inside the engine creates hot spots and detonation, but with Evans, the metal is always liquid cooled. Used by HRC Honda, Factory Beta USA, and Pro Factory Yamaha, and lots of other teams, regardless of sponsorship. Evans is in the bikes on the podium. Evans emails. Once again, I never have them ready to go. That's becoming a thing. Okay. Jason Henniger. Hey, fellas, just want to give you my Prox highs and lows. All right, that's highs and lows. That's great. Way to go, Dark Side.
That's
Jamie?
up next according to the ticker.
Yep. Good job. Shane Bagley said, just listened to the show last week. Great show. Derek Drake. That was Derek Kelly, but that's okay. It was good as a co-host. Stoked to hear you dipped your dog. Just glad you found someone to vibe with. Thank you, Shane.
It's halfway across the country.
Okay. Shane Bagley also wants to know what's up with Sexton just casually letting Jet by without. This is from last week,
I
actually.
didn't see that.
Without even racing for it. I'm a fan of holding your line and making someone pass you like Jason did last week. So I haven't seen that either, but let's talk about it in theory.
I saw
I have
it
to
when
see
it
it.
when it happened.
Uh-huh.
It was a little bit of him. It was like half him letting him by, and half just like, oh, like if I try to hold this line and fight it, we'll probably both go down.
Oh, I see.
So-
So they were like coming together.
Yeah, I don't
okay.
know.
Well, that's
like
different.
I don't. He didn't really like just pull up and let him by.
There's
I
no
don't
way
feel
he
like
let him by. There's no.
yeah, I don't.
He might
I would have to see
I
that
think it was
happen.
kind of
and I wouldn't
more of
like
like, okay, here I'm going to let him go ahead and go, and then I'm going to try to cut down
Okay.
and get him in the next lane.
Okay, and
but
it
it didn't really work out that way. So then it kind of looked like he
Okay.
let him by.
That makes sense.
That's how I interpreted it. But it did. There is a you can cut and paste a scene out of that where it does look like he let him by.
Yeah, no, that one would make sense. And I have only heard about it.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Prox, highs and lows.
Pro X.
What? Huh?
Nothing.
Beta. Prox,
Pro
Pro
X.
X. Prox is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Ampro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They have been supplying quality components for almost 50 years. From complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance, including filters, chains, and sprockets, Prox aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find Prox at your local dealership or visit prox-usa.com and search parts for your bike. I jumped on Prox to order some chains and sprockets recently. Prox is a really, really great company to go get some parts at great prices. So if you're looking for some high quality parts, prox-usa.com. Go check them out. Order your stuff. Shane Bagley's highs and lows. Hi, we are headed east. I'll be at Detroit live and in person. Low, Shimoda. I expected more. I know it's a new bike, but he doesn't look nearly good enough. Looking to see if there's a couple others. I think there are. Yeah, Shane Borden. Glad to see that both Eli and Chase looked really good again. Also, just how amazing all the races were at A2. Those were his highs, his low. Kenny's evening being below what his riding has been. Wasn't a good...
Not one of his results has equal to what he's doing on a bike.
No, I agree.
But he was sick to the point he even couldn't come on the show. So he was probably sick on the weekend, wasn't he?
Well, that's what's crazy is Cooper
He told
won.
me Friday at press he wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And he's like, but he said, but I've already committed, so I'll do it. But when I texted him yesterday, he goes, man, my whole family's sick.
yeah.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but that's unfortunately news. Because somebody reached out and they're like, I can't, it just sucks that he canceled on Pulp and he's canceled on you, because his results weren't good enough and he's upset. And I was like, that wasn't the case for me. And he wasn't really scheduled to be on Pulp. His practice mechanic was going to be in studio and he was hanging out. He was thought about coming to hang out, but he didn't want to hang out for the whole show. So he also wasn't feeling good, but that's really, I think, what it comes down to. Now, Steve did say that I think he said that Kenny told him if things didn't go well at A2, he might not do it. But for me, I'm going to choose to believe that he just wasn't feeling good. Highs and lows, Scotty?
I'm going to go with the highs was how good the racing was. And, I thought it was cool that, the first race, Sexton got the whole shot, kind of checked out. And then the race was kind of behind him. Second race, Anderson got the whole shot, kind of checked out. And then third race, Tomac got the whole shot and kind of checked out. Even though the battles for the lead weren't really there in that class, just seeing three different guys be able to get out front and do that, and then all of the other guys trying to pass each other to get onto the podium and stuff was just the racing overall was just awesome.
Great night of racing.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see the points be tight and see how long that lasts and goes. My lows would be the fact that the 450 Team Husky team, man, Mookie and Christian Craig are just not had a good start. Not what I expected from them. I want to see them get into the mix, so I'm gonna use that as my low.
TJ?
I would say my low would be just how terrible my son qualified this weekend. Dead last in qualifying. He's never done that. He crashed every time he got on the track and every time he tried to put a hot lap down. And we put his segment times together just for if he had a perfect lap, he would have qualified in the 26th. You know what I mean? It would have been his best qualifying ever, but he kept crashing. So that was kind of a low for me, I guess. And then my high is the Desmo 450, the Ducati bike that came out
cool.
that Monday. I
love that front fender.
That front fender's terrible.
I love the front fender.
But the bike.
I heard you say that. Everybody else has been dogging.
I love it. I don't know why. I
just
think
holds so much. I mean, it kind of looks
seen
neat.
a glimpse of it. I haven't really looked at it.
It kind of looks neat, but it looks like it's gonna hold a bunch of dirt. But the technology,
not if you're out front, baby.
The fact that we are about to have basically a Ferrari of motorcycles. I mean, that dirt bike's probably going to cost $30,000 to buy.
I can't wait to get a demo version.
Oh my god! That bike is gonna be.
It got stolen.
You like that front end?
I thought it looked. I don't know, man. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that looks cool. It's just something different.
But the technology that they have and how much that bike is going, how fast that bike is going to rev. Oh, it's going to be so awesome.
All right. Can I say something honest about Doc?
Yes.
He's not aggressive enough, period.
No, we've talked about that.
Yeah. When I watch him, he's hesitating going to the whoops, and that's the problem. I mean, yes, crashing, but that's the problem.
What's happening, and we've talked about it, and hopefully he doesn't get upset for me putting this out there, but he said it, he's makes a mistake somewhere during a lap and then hesitates every time.
That's what I see.
It's like he's scared of making mistakes, which is causing him to make mistakes.
Yeah, just I Lewis is watching, or it's people that I'm like, hey, that's TJ's kid, and it's just like, he's just rolling around almost. He's not, but when you see everybody else commit, and he's, we've all talked a lot of times about him. It takes him a while to get going.
It does,
and that just doesn't work.
It doesn't work
if you're going to go qualify.
And so, every national growing up when he raced, he would almost always put his fastest laps down at the end of the motos, where other guys are falling off. He was pushing to the end or whatever he was racing. And The problem is we never trained for going out and he's always been cautious, and that doesn't work.
I thought that, so on Race Day Live at San Diego, when they cut the second qualifying practice off, and they were like they brought Doc up on Race Day Live that he snuck into the last spot because where he was, but then when I don't remember seeing his name on the whatever the oh my god, I can't
Ticker?
The ticker, yeah, during either one of the heat races. Did I just miss it?
He
or
did good. Actually,
he for some reason I didn't see him on there. I didn't know if something happened or not.
He came out. I know in the LCQ he came out of the first corner in like 5th and then crashed because somebody went down in front of him or slid out in front of him, and he went down with them. He just didn't. Yeah, he struggled with that. But the goals are over the next 2 weeks is just trying to ride every day and just get back to being comfortable. We got to remember. And I even have to remember, he was only on the bike like 3 times before Supercross because he was off the bike all summer from heat stroke. So, I mean, I'm not making excuses for him, and I don't have to pay for it, so I don't have to get mad.
I want to jump back to the Evans Coolant emails real quick. I forgot I had gotten a late one. And Barry McCockiner.
Yeah.
Great
Dark,
tag.
my dog, my boy. First off, she doesn't care, so congrats on laying the pipe to Veronica. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Barry. Huh?
I said Veronica.
He says true legend status. You're welcome, Barry. Thanks.
Anyways, moving on.
My question with Prado showing great rides in Supercross. Are there any American teams soliciting his services for 25? There is a rumor that Kawasaki is.
Really?
It's a rumor.
No. I just would be surprised if he didn't stay with like gas or something like that, because
if he wants to come ride Supercross, and there's depending on what the options are, I don't know. So
I would think that
if Lewis is still listening, he might be able to chime in, but he probably won't because he's friends with Prado. So
I would think that Barsha would be on his way out of, and then Prado would kind of slide into that spot.
I don't know that I would let Barsha go for Prado.
No, not let him go, but I'm saying you would have Barsha and Prado for a year together or something like that. I think that'd be cool. Good personalities.
Let's close this thing out with EVS picks for Detroit. Over the last 39 years, EVS Sports has established themselves as the leaders in innovation and technology when it comes to designing protection gear for today's motocross riders. Athletes like RJ Hampshire, Cal Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Axel Hodges, and Travis Pastrana all wear EVS when they race ride, or whatever Travis decides to do that day. Check out evs-sports.com and use the code VITALMX30, all caps, to save and gear up like the pros. My favorite EVS product, I've said many times, is the under gear stuff. I wear that stuff all the time. But as far as the actual protective stuff, the Axis Pro knee braces, I really like those. I generally wear my Asterisks, but the Axis Pro are really good. So if you're a knee brace guy, I would definitely check out the Axis Pro or even the Axis Sport knee brace. Very, very good.
And the Axis Sport, just for people who don't know, it's like an affordable version of the Pros. It just doesn't have the carbon fiber.
Yep.
And we've seen over the years that those actually kind of hold up better to like side impacts if you're getting wrecks, because there's no carbon fiber to crack or anything. So,
and of course, they're knee. I'm not a knee guard guy, but I've learned that I need to wear them when I'm riding pit bikes, because you taught me that when I busted the shit on my knees at your place. So the TP189 and the Slaco 96 knee guards are both very, very good options. And if you're just a knee guard guy in general, or lady, those actually are really comfortable. I've never wore the Slaco ones, but the TP199 ones are really, really comfortable. Okay, EVS picks for Detroit. Shane Borden reached out. Eli, Chase, Jet. That's his 1 through 3. Eli's on fire. I can see it. Sexton, all those guys, man. I can see that. I have a different one. I'm going to go Tomac to win. So I'm on board there. Cooper Webb, second. Jason Anderson. That's a little bit risky, but I'm going to go Jason Anderson for third. By the way, A2 was Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, Aaron Plessinger. That was Jason probably he was third, but he got docked. So what's your picks for Detroit, TJ?
I'm going to say Jetson to win.
Yep.
With, I know I can't put Tomac on the deal. I'm gonna have to say Sexton and Webb and then Sexton. Sexton for third.
Scotty T.
I'm going to go Tomac, Sexton, Webb.
Okay, we're all somewhat close. All right, those are our picks. I want to hear your picks, but get them in before Saturday. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com.
Do you want to do ML's top 5 action movies?
Yeah, you send them in?
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, of course.
He counted Star Wars.
Okay, that's fair. I have no problem with that. I just always pick Star Wars.
Star Wars, Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's a good one.
The Dark Knight. We both had on there, and he put Pulp Fiction on there.
I'll give it to him. I mean, I'll give it to him. There is some action. It's not. I wouldn't describe it as
5. Was that 4?
I think that was 4.
That's
Can you not look at them and count?
Well, he didn't put them all in one thing.
Oh.
And then the last one was The Hunt for Red October.
You know what? I haven't seen that since it came out.
Oh, I thought his last one here was Brokeback Mountain, but okay.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oops. Got him. Those are good, except for the Brokeback Mountain one.
Yeah.
I need to watch The Hunt for Red October again.
I don't see it as it's more like a drama.
Yeah, I don't know. It really is an action movie.
It comes down to your definition of action. There is action, right? They're hunting this submarine, and there's bombs going off. And
Fair enough.
Torpedoes.
I saw it on like Netflix or whatever. I was like, you know what? That was a staple, classic movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let me watch it, and I got about like 30, 40 minutes into it, and I just
because it's old and the way it's filmed, or
no,
or
it just
didn't do it. For
It
you?
just didn't do it for me.
We also grew up in a time.
He turned it off to watch Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah,
exactly what it
I was like, I have to watch that again.
No, but
Again?
I've never seen that movie.
Lies.
I really haven't.
you know why I haven't watched it? What if it's good? Anyways.
Yeah. I also considered Fight Club. That was one I thought about.
That is not action.
That's not an action
That's
movie.
a drama.
I think
it's
again, definition.
blurred lines.
Yeah, blurred lines.
Blurred lines.
All right. I want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors, and they keep adding up. Thanks to Vital MX for the ad guys for going out and getting these sponsors to come on board, because it really helps the show progress. We really need you guys to go out and support our sponsors. Use those promo codes. It means a lot to the sponsors. They'll keep coming back if you do it. Again, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Get involved with Vital MX Fantasy by joining the MotoXpod Show League. Lots of cool gifts given away each week to the winners. Support sponsors. Send us an email if you want to get in with the Procs, highs and lows, the Evans coolant emails, the Troll Training Top 5. Again, next week is 5 people that you would like to meet in life, alive or dead. Just all the segments. EVS picks for the following race, which will be Glendale. So we want to get all that stuff. We want to hear from you. We want to read about them. We want to thank our presenting sponsors, Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA, as well as all our wonderful sponsors, including Guts Racing, FXR, X-Brand, Procs, EVS Protection, Troll Training, Evans Coolant, Blood Lubricants, Barnett Clutches. Show 300, guys. Let's do 300 more. We're out.